shining by Martial. Semi-final starting. Caicedo seems okay, or does he?
Just limping a little.
Pascal Gross, versatile. He's suspected he will start on the right-hand side of the defence, but you never know with Brighton. Danny Welbeck giving an interview just a few days ago saying, well, we've got three different ways of playing in every game. A loyalist of servants, so they do look at the opposition and see what they've set up like.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that McAllister is going to play along
game for the first time.
Caicedo with
to help Brighton keep the ball.
So just playing in behind Welbeck, but again, that will change.
Yeah, I think we got it right on our graphic, but
we do take
I have to tell you all listening, it was a bit of guesswork.
Possession football.
And Clive Allen's expertise.
Thank you, Mike. We got it right at the moment, but it will change. I can assure everybody watching.
They are missing Evan Ferguson, who is a big physical presence in the middle. One-sided here yesterday, who sadly got injured, but Brighton City had got injured at Chelsea. Last weekend, he would have liked to have had him out. Domestic rivals. Looking to make it a historic. It's in June, the final. Will it be the two Manchester clubs, or will Brighton put their recent form, which has been very good, into go longer certainly than in Seville.
Martin, look at it. It's almost they're encouraging that Brighton press. They know Brighton are going to come and press, so they're just going to play beyond that in the early stages. Manchester United, with Manchester United having Eriksen and Casemiro and the vast experience that they bring to the team.
Another reason would be they don't want to be caught out like they were
going to play a vital part in the favour of Manchester United.
Breaking forward. Here's Mitoma, here is Casemiro. Wizard of dribble. Just outside. It's certainly a foul. Winning of the trophy here.
Just an exceptional change of pace from Mitoma when he comes inside Wan-Bissaka.
Scoring a goal.
I think it was Fernandes who actually clipped him.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka is at right back, which means
trying to come back and protect his fullback. You can see steps across him, nowhere near playing the ball. Free kick given.
A few times recently, he's done well in the last Premier League game. Through to score at Nottingham Forest. He was the culprit.
Well, injuries and suspensions obviously has limited Ten Hag's decisions in that Manchester United rearguard.
First Rashford raised. Quite a discussion going on involving
Marcus Rashford felt that he was caught as he rolled that ball into the 18-yard box. He was caught late. Is the one. Referee Craig Pawson just waved the game on. Solly March with his left. They're the options.
Sometimes you do say
for this Brighton free kick.
Yeah, Insisto came too early for the referee. I don't speak much English, so we're getting in. McAllister would hear what VAR is saying. We're not doing anything at the moment. And De Gea Croucher actually is damaged in that a little bit as well. He's limping. So not good early news for Brighton. It's McAllister. Oh, it's close. It's a corner. Well, he reached it, De Gea.
De Gea just took a step to the right, Martin. I thought that McAllister maybe have just fooled him going into the far side of the goal. But it was a strong right hand, a strong top right hand from De Gea. Look at the step right, just a slight step right, but covers that side. It is the keeper's side to cover.
Wasn't it, the free kick?
Certainly good strike.
Yeah. The set piece nearly. Loyalist of servants. Another one to come now from Solly March's left foot. They could go short here. They're trying to put his 2-against-1 on the game for the first time, and they help Brighton keep the ball. And it doesn't get past the front zone, which is guarded by Bruno Fernandes.
They do take control. Interesting that Gross comes out, just really to pull one Manchester United defender out. Obviously doesn't take part in it, but he's just drawing one of the defenders out to give Marsh the opportunity to deliver.
Evan Ferguson, who is a big physical presence in the middle, teenager, who sadly got injured. Well, back from Brighton's point of view, sadly got injured at Chelsea. Damaged since he left Manchester United last weekend. The Red Devils. He scored out there. There's a goal in an FA Cup quarter-final for Arsenal.
Yeah, he's a young left Old Trafford forward who's had a fantastic season.
Gross. It's interesting to see De Gea go longer, certainly than in the end. Seville.
Yeah, it's almost as if they're encouraging that Brighton press. They know Brighton are going to come and press high, so they just got to play beyond that in the early stages. Manchester United.
It's only last weekend when he added to that in terms of league goals. Very sensible, logical reason. Another reason would be they don't want to be caught out like they were.
Normally he's playing wide on the right. Rashford's actually out on the right forward. At the moment.
It's a good touch. Here's Anthony, who is the wizard of dribble with Bruno Fernandes. And it's just outside, and it's certainly a foul. 18 red shirts getting forward.
Just an exceptional change of pace from Mitoma when he comes inside Wan-Bissaka. I think it was Fernandes who actually clipped him.
Lindelof.
Oh, Anthony trying to come back and protect his fullback. Anthony's on the left. You can see he's on the right. Steps across him, nowhere near playing the ball. Free kick given.
Lewis Dunk has a look at Webster, the two centre-backs. And that could have been one of the softer goals in the semi-final.
Oh yeah, that would have been furious. Just a straight ball between the two centre-halves.
There it goes long again, but not straight. Kicked in by Rashford. Martial. It was hard to predict.
Duel developing between him and Gross on this right-hand side of Brighton's attack.
Here's Gross getting away from Anthony. Running up Enciso, who scored that stunner at Stamford Bridge last weekend.
Well, I think his first control just lets him down, Martin, because as it's fired to him, good work, well crafted on the right, fired into his Enciso, and as he controls it, it just pops up. He then tries to strike it off the outside of his right boot and doesn't make the contact he was looking for.
19 years old, Paraguayan. Discussion going on.
And what a goal he scored last week, we mustn't forget that. Solly March had gone across, but I think...
headed on by Rashford. Anthony's back on the right.
McAllister is the one.
For the time being.
With his right foot, Solly March with his left. They're the options for this Brighton free kick.
Yeah, Enciso was part of the conversation. He doesn't speak much English, but his pass, as Brighton McAllister would have helped. March. He's having the best season of his career, Solly March. He can mark that in goals scored. The crouches. He's been an occasional scorer in his past years of service, but something's clicked with his De Zerbi style of management. It's McAllister. A different role. It's close. It's a corner.
Just the experience he's gained.
Well, De
Gea just took a step to the right, Martin. I thought that McAllister maybe had just fooled him going into the far side of the goal. But it was a strong right hand, a strong top right hand from De Gea. Look at the step right, just a slight step right, but covers that side. It is the keeper's side to cover.
Wasn't it? The free kick.
Certainly good strike.
Yeah. Casemiro, that's a wayward piece nearly of such experience and quality. Another one to come now. Welbeck from Solly March's left foot through for Enciso. Could go short here. Ericsson, be 2 against 1. Now Anthony's got to run a dunk. They don't. And it doesn't get past the front zone. Toma got back by Ericsson on the scene. A lot of room here for Bruno Fernandes.
Interesting that Gross comes out just really to pull one Manchester United defender out. Obviously doesn't good United move to give Fernandes the first shooting opportunity of the match for Manchester United. Poor delivery into that near post area. Wasn't the fiercest shot, Martin, but well dealt with by Sanchez.
He's done some damage since he left Manchester United to the Red Devils. He scored a crucial goal in an FA Cup quarter-final for Arsenal. He couldn't quite take it Old Trafford 4 millimetres in that.
Well, this is certainly Manchester United's idea that when Martial just drops, it is for midfield players to get forward. Fernandes does that, opens up, winds the shot towards the far corner.
He
doesn't get the pace or dip
that Premier League appearances
requiring. Comfortably dealt with by Sanchez.
Last weekend when he added to that in terms of league goals.
I'm a little surprised to see him defending in that left-back position, normally playing wide on the right. Rashford's actually out on the right at the moment.
Looking touch by Anthony. History linking up with Bruno Fernandes. Here's Gross in a great position. Red shirts getting forward. Oh, and it was taken away from with the header. Estepinian by Mitoma. Back from I think it was the left back's ball.
I think you're right, Martin. Mitoma with his back to goal tries to swivel and strike, and as he does, he just takes it off of the toe
through the middle and
Estepinian as he's arriving. Again
Lewis
down the right, Marsh and Gross combining well, cut back, Welbeck missed kick.
One of the softer goals.
The touch there,
in the semi-final.
Just trying to swivel and hit with his left foot, takes it away from his left back. Between the two centre halves.
Action at both ends is as we expected.
Absolutely, it's a game unfolding as we expected.
Not straight. Kicked in by Rashford. Martial. Oh, was hard to predict. At his best, he's a match winner. Fernandes. There's one Anthony. Semi-final here before. Gets it back. Martial. Bruno Fernandes is in again. Prodded goalwards. Other times. Still got it. Yeah.
Two dunk blocks, brilliant defending. Well, he will be the one that I think is a fixture that stays central. Lee tries to lead the line. Will drop and captain Red Fernandes as he tries to come back inside.
But it'd be unlikely to see him in the wider
just
positions.
Making headway in that midfield area.
Brighton pushing
Anthony pass,
European qualification
cuts back
for
inside Fernandes.
That takes
Dunk,
them in.
read it well.
Can do it by league position. Brighton can attack. But are we sure? They've got the defensive stability against the side. Maybe not at full strength in Manchester United, but they've got a lot of big game play. Had a better angle on it than we did. Here's Solly March. He's being checked.
No, it's played against the hand by Solly March. He was actually trying to prod that ball through for Gross's run.
Shoot, but Christian Eriksen was aware of that.
And it's high. He's on the floor at the moment, Solly March. He thought he was shot as he released the ball. Arm.
Don't go too far away from your televisions. Anthony thought he could let it run and chase something special. The second is number that time. Semi-final of 2023. Robert Sanchez in goal, Spain international. Lost his place in the Premier League, I think. Side to Jason Steele, who's been around a long time and not played much Premier League football. Patch up the back line. He was missing last week through injuries. On the bench today, which suggests that the way Brighton plays as the cup goalkeeper, do at times ask their defenders to deal one-on-one with opponents, and a lot of green grass to come out to his work in, but the ball just something most coaches encourage.
Clever Brighton move it really was. You have to be very confident in your defending ability by running inside your opposition one-on-one.
Here's Dunk. They've got good contacts in Ecuador.
They've got good contacts worldwide, Marty. They really have. Recruitment's been exceptional.
The change of passes, get the ball through to Enciso, strong manager. Painful one when you get onto the tarmac. And the pressure put on Caicedo. Manchester United know what an influence he can be.
Well, Gross actually stubbed his foot as he planted his right foot, calming Anthony down his ankle. A duel developing between him and Gross on this right-hand side of Brighton's
first 20 minutes
attack.
Was a Brighton player when here's Gross getting away from Anthony 4 years ago and lost 1-0 to Manchester City, but he wasn't in the squad. He scored that just stunner.
As he plants that right foot, you can see the ankle
last weekend.
Rolls under him. Well, I think his first control just lets him down, Martin, because as it's fired to him, good work, well crafted on the right, fired into his Enciso, and as he controls it, it just pops up. He then tries to strike it off the outside of his right boot and doesn't make the contact he was looking for.
19 years old, Paraguayan. One thing about ankles is and
what a goal he scored last week, we mustn't forget that.
You can soldier on, but with the headed on by Rashford and these days, that sort of thing doesn't happen quite as often as it used to. For the time being, Ten Hag taking the opportunity to have a word in the ear of Anthony. Nice concern from Dalot. Pass, as Brighton love to do. March. The best season of his career, Solly March.
He doesn't give way under once again.
Goal scored.
Right boot here. As he plants, occasional scorer rolls under his ankle.
Here's a service, but something's clicked. I mean,
you can see the anguish on his face.
Slightly different role.
Maybe just the experience he's gained, Martin, as well. Just fulfilled undoubtedly the potential he had as a young player.
You have to get you off the pitch if you can't get away here. Because able to carry on if you need further training. Confused Enciso. Do everything possible to carry on.
Oh, without a doubt. I feel for him exactly the same position in the 82 Cup final, Martin. And I rolled my ankle in the second minute.
Such experience and quality.
Never recovered from it, unfortunately.
Almost through for Enciso. And nor did Queen's Park Rangers. Now Anthony's got a run at Dunk.
All I can say, I shouldered on to half-time, but didn't want to come off, but had to.
Eriksen on the scene. A lot of room here for Bruno Fernandes. Parried by Sanchez. That was a huge gap.
Good United move to give Fernandes, the first shooting opportunity of the match for Manchester United.
Casemiro.
Wasn't the fiercest shot, Martin, but well dealt with by Sanchez.
Here's Rashford.
The foul's given for Casemiro, pulling it back there.
Take it in his stride. Millimetres in that. We didn't see what actually happened as he moved backwards.
Well, this is certainly Manchester United's idea that when Martial just drops, it is for midfield players to get forward. Fernandes does that, opens up, winds the shot towards the far corner. Probably doesn't get the pace or dip that he was requiring.
Mitoma.
Comfortably dealt with by Sanchez.
Have a ball into Welbeck, who came off his man to try and get it to feet. Never beaten Manchester United in the FA Cup, quite sure it in. And he's got into history this afternoon. And here's Gross in a great position.
Welbeck struck for the ball, but I'm not sure he got
and it was taken
a lot
away
of the ball. He did catch
Fernandes by Mitoma. I think it was the left-back's ball.
I think you're right, Martin. Mitoma with his back to goal tries to swivel and strike, and as he does, he just takes it off of the toe of Estupiñán as he's arriving. Again, down the right, Marsh and Gross combining well, cut back, Welbeck missed kick, and then the touch there, he just trying to swivel and hit with his left foot, takes it away from his left back.
Hasn't all been sweetness and light at both ends, is as we expected.
Absolutely, it's a game unfolding as we expected.
They have lost, Manchester United, they've lost probably badly, really. Think of Anfield won by Webster, but it breaks for Fernandes. Anthony now gets it back. Fernandes, Martial. Bruno Fernandes is in again. The prodded goal, Clive, is that people are going for the ball. It's a semi-final. Someone's waiting for a cutback.
Two dunk blocks, brilliant defending. Well, again, that's an accident. He's actually trying to strike for the ball. The Brighton captain read Fernandes as he tries to come back inside. His right ankle kick catches the left boot, just making headway in that midfield area. Right ankle with that contact. Anthony pass, cuts back inside. Fernandes
on Thursday, well. He was suspended, Bruno Fernandes. Well, we know Brighton can attack, but has been such a strange season. The unique stability against the side. Maybe not at full strength at Manchester United, but they've got a lot of big game players. The World Cup break for so many of these players. Here's Solly March. In terms of break from English football, but to get it on his huge shoot, fatigue risk, which Ericsson was aware of that again straight after the holiday season. Right through again.
He's on the floor at the moment, Solly March. You thought he was caught as he released the ball.
The history of this season is written. There will be a lot of analysis about physical data of the players.
Well, for many of the Premier League players, obviously they might well have been participating at the World Cup. But for those who wasn't, they had a break. Special. That would have been structured in terms of the work that they did. But it is the workload of the players that were at the World Cup. Some would have played nearly all the games that their country played. Some would have been there and not played games. So there are so many differing levels that it's so difficult for the coaches.
Almost have to treat every player one-to-one relationship with their physicality defenders to deal one-on-one with them.
The sports scientists come into play massively there for the coaches.
Something most coaches
explaining the physio that he's rolled his right ankle. He's going to carry on in your defending ability to match up with your opposition one-on-one.
Got Marcel Sabitzer, of course, who's started to make an impact in his 6 months or so with United on loan from Bayern.
Rashford is now down after a challenge.
Through to Enciso, was strong, was sure at his back. It looks like a hip or a rib. Pressure put on Caicedo. Very flowing game. Know what increase he can be. Staccato.
Well, Gross actually stubbed his foot as he planted his right foot into him. He rolled his ankle. Rashford a clean header.
Yeah, he's in the wars inside the first 20 minutes.
Too much contact. Certainly not an elbow in the ribs.
Had that semi-final 4 years ago and lost 1-0 to Manchester City, but he wasn't in the squad.
Just there, as he plants that right foot, you can see the ankle just rolls under him.
And Bruno Fernandes is going to battle on. Solly March is battling on, so
both limping though, Martin. Yeah. They are far from free moving.
It's 10.5 against the word 10.5 at the moment from the medics. Caicedo, who's the first. Thinking about how to be down on the deck in the opening Manchester United attack. You can take them up and you march, not trying anything so expansive with the.
Well, the game becoming very disjointed, Martin. It just seems that every challenge, every contact, a player is then on the floor.
Here's Pascal Gross. Anthony hasn't been on the floor yet. Tries to floor. Nice concern from Dalot. Mitoma. Slight in for Estupinian. And he slips and.
You just hope when you get up, Martin, it doesn't give way under you once again. Watch the right boot here. As he plants,
Hernandez's ability to run. I'm not sure he was quite in top gear.
I don't think he was ever getting there, Martin, when he saw Dunk coming across in the manner that he was. He isn't happy, Fernandez.
The referee saying, look, we have to get you off the pitch if... here's Luke Shaw. You'll be able to carry on if you need further treatment. I can tell you, he'll do everything possible to carry on. His home ground this for a while with Tottenham.
I feel for him exactly the same position in the 87 Cup,
scoring
82 Cup final, Martin.
Wembley against
and
Manchester United.
With the second minute and never recovered from it, unfortunately. Yeah, he was quite an exceptional talent at Manchester United and quite an exceptional character. Well, I think that he's playing in an FA Cup semi-final half-time. Having experienced what he has is something quite remarkable.
Dunk underneath it. He's an amazing guy. Hit by Estupinian. High boot by Welbeck. The free kick had been given earlier. And then
very disjointed in the last 5 minutes. The flow
accidentally.
Yeah, it was accidentally, but he has trodden on it.
One would suggest we're going to have quite a lump of added time at the end of this first half. We're nowhere near that yet. Eriksen.
The foul's given for Casemiro, pulling him back there.
A little bit risky. We didn't see what. Here's March as he moved backwards. Enciso checking to the edge of the area. March can pick him out. Enciso felt it. Doesn't look for him. I don't think Enciso's disappointed. But there is on a corner.
Well, that was a wonderful McAllister ball, diagonal ball into that space for Solly March to run into. In the end, he just bringing it back on his favoured left foot. Superb delivery. In behind that United defence, so Solly March is coming back onto his favoured left foot. And that's good defending, because he makes sure Dalot, he knows he's gone into attempting to cross with his left. Denies him the chance to deliver the cross. Welbeck struck for the ball, but I'm not sure he got
the corner.
A lot of the ball he did catch, Bruno Fernandes. I wonder if it's their first semi-final, those young United supporters.
Estupinian, the skies. Well, shape to shoot. He's been to Wembley already. Mitoma, his first season. Estupinian fires it across. Shaw's there first for Manchester United.
And Martin Shaw made a fabulous physical challenge with Dunk when that first corner came in.
Hasn't all been.
He had to be strong, did Luke Shaw, to challenge Dunk, deny him
to deal with.
A clear-cut header.
And when they have lost, Manchester United, they've lost. Probably 27 goals in his career for Brighton. Think of Anfield.
Well, he was the target, and Luke Shaw was the man detailed to mark him, and he did his job correctly.
Now, here's Webb Fernandez and Gross. The one common thing, Clive, is that people are going for the ball. It's a semi-final. You don't want to be accused of not being aggressive.
Well, again, that's an accident. Yeah. He's actually trying to strike for the ball, and his right ankle.
He'll get there.
For me, that's a foul, but then his right ankle kick catches the left boot of McAllister, and he rolls his right ankle with that contact.
Manchester United on their way, maybe.
It was great defending. He had two options. Mitoma getting to the byline. That was Welbeck, and it was Solly March, and he couldn't find either.
It's been such a strange season, a unique season with the. Get up running right from the start of it, and then the World Cup break for so many of these players. Japan ball that everybody thought had gone over the line in terms of the goal break from English football. Huge fatigue risk.
That was his options. He couldn't find either. What a touch from Dalot, full of confidence, first control into clear.
I mean, I think when the history of this season is written, there will be a lot of analysis about disgruntled this time, not physical data, angle of the pass.
Well, for many of the Premier League players, obviously they might well have been participating at the World Cup, But for those who wasn't, they had a break. That would have been structured in terms of the work that they did.
Very easy on the eye,
but it is the workload of the players that were at the World Cup. Some would have played nearly all the games that their country played. Some would have been there and not played games. So there are all so many different levels that it's so difficult for the coaches.
Almost have to be very good. Every player has a one-to-one relationship with their physicality.
Exactly.
It's allowed them to have the shot, I guess.
Scientists come into play massively there for the coaches.
Wan-Bissaka's challenge had to be spot
just
on.
Explaining the physio.
As Mitoma comes in off the line,
he's going to carry on as well.
Wan-Bissaka's making up ground from behind him, in from the side. That's a good challenge. Chance is there to strike from Enciso. He slices it just wide, but that is a good tackle from Wan-Bissaka,
which brilliant tackle,
of which his teammates
Rashford is
certainly praised him for
after a challenge.
So.
It takes a bit of catching, Mitoma. Wan-Bissaka, who is known for his speed defensively, is probably his #1 strength to make those sort of challenges. Hard person to get away from. Suddenly, from a very flowing choice, you feel against a very Caso semi-final.
Mitoma Gross steps into him to deny
making not just great strides, but very quick strides in English football.
Really too much contact.
Well, Casado's not an elbow in the ribs.
Just nudges Martial in the back.
His own momentum took him into Gross.
Does fall rather dramatically. Yes, there's a push. Over he goes. That's a poor challenge from Casado.
He's going to battle on. One of a number of bright players being chased by so-called bigger clubs.
Both limping though, Martin. They are far from free moving.
It's 10.5 against 10.5 at the moment. This group with Brighton still, who was the first to do something special, to be down on the deck and get special defending. Manchester United attack. March trying Ericsson to expand kick.
Well, the game becoming very disjointed, Martin. It just seems that every challenge, every contact, the player is then on the floor.
Back a bit. Made it easier space for the goalkeeper.
Yes, good defending. As soon as the ball's cleared, they come up that 5 yards, clear the 6-yard box.
Mitoma. Slide in for Estupinian, and he slips, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka's away. It's a test of Fernandes' ability to run. I'm not sure he was quite in top gear.
I don't think he was ever getting there, Martin, when he saw Dunk coming across in the manner that he was.
Enciso.
He isn't happy, Fernandes.
Here's Luke Shaw in this first half, the sides attacking the goal behind which the supporters of the side. Of course, this is home ground this for a while, with the noise level will go up even higher in the second half. I seem to remember him scoring for Spurs at Wembley against Manchester United. By his standards, he's had a couple of dismissals from Premier League dugouts.
Yeah, he was very reserved to this point. Talent, Manchester United, and quite an exceptional character. To think that he's playing in an FA Cup semi-final, having experienced what he has, is something quite remarkable. Well, I think they're enjoying their day out. They'll be pleased with the way their team's gone about it. It has been, as we thought, a very tight semi-final. Game very disjointed in the last 5 minutes. The flow has been lost.
Maybe. Well, one would suggest we're going to have quite a lump of added time at the end of this first half. We're nowhere near that yet. Ericsson.
It's interesting. De Zerbi is quite animated.
Right, Dunk. Here's
March. Stood motionless, probably for
Enciso checking to the edge of the area. March
literally like a statue.
Look for him.
In the Manchester United technical area, and he still hasn't moved yet. Well, it was a wonderful McAllister ball, diagonal ball into that space for Solly March to run into. In the end, he just bringing it back on his favoured left foot. Superb delivery. In behind that United defence, and Solly March is coming back onto his favoured left foot, and that's good defending, because he makes sure Dalot, he knows he's
stands out of his pocket,
attempting to cross with his left, denies him the chance to deliver the cross.
Gross to take the corner. Webster. Come and try and nick it off with some of the play round you. That's what Brighton were trying to do. First leaving it for Dunk coming in behind. Complete the intention. Estupinian disguise. Kind of chasing back. Hope to shoot.
Brilliant from Mitoma.
Mitoma Stupinian finds it across. Shaw's there first for Manchester United.
Martin Shaw made a fabulous physical challenge with Dunk when that first corner came in.
Because he's booked for it.
He had to be strong, did Luke Shaw, to challenge Dunk.
Well, he's saying no,
Casemiro, but the referee is kicking through the back. You cannot kick through the back of an opponent
in his career for
That is a
Brighton.
yellow card offence. The referee's absolutely right. Tries to win it initially
Founded
there, but
on
then
an audacious
look at the way
dream,
that right leg goes
Flutterwave
through
is
the
here
back
to
of
help
McAllister.
Africans take the global
The referee's
stage.
correct.
The fashion designer, the fitness influencer, the student dreaming of our NBA. Millions of us are ready. But while we have the talent, the products, and the great ideas, we struggle with the basic business need to pay and get paid. It's a pain. As Africans, we are divided by dozens of banks, currencies, and mobile wallets. So we started Flutterwave to make payments easy, to provide one easy-to-use payment platform for the entire continent and the products and services you need to support your business, so you can show the world what a successful entrepreneur looks like.
Absolutely, he's back on now.
This is our time. All it takes is that first payment, and we're on our way.
Cisse trying to take it on a half turn, and he makes
Well, he was the target,
on the
and Luke
ball.
Shaw was the man detailed to mark him, and he did his job correctly.
Welbeck wants to get crossed in. And Gross deciding not to do that either. Welbeck, Martial did well. Got the ball and then got the free kick.
And look at the Manchester United players surrounding Craig Paulson. They feel that Webster should get a yellow card for that challenge.
He's quick, he'll get there. But this is something the game's got to deal with. There's too much touching and passing out. Set Manchester United partly because they
It was great defending. He had two options. Matoma getting to the byline. That was well. He actually is pulling out of the challenge. He does make contact. Yes. Ten Hag's furious, but he makes contact. But he's not kicking through the back of the opponent. That's the difference, I feel, in the interpretation from the referee. He doesn't feel that warrants a yellow card for the nature of the challenge.
Set up a goal. Robert Jones, the fourth official, easily. Paris explained that to Eric Ten Hag.
That was his options. He couldn't find either. What a touch from Dalot, full of confidence, first control and then to clear.
Dalot. Fernandez looking disgruntled this time, not the challenge, but the angle of the pass. No chance of collecting regulation time to go to half-time. Half an hour gone. Will be first part of it. A bit attacking, intense. Football is very easy on the eye from both teams. Wan-Bissaka catalogue of stoppages. Mitoma's got to defend again. Trying to get going again. Anthony and Cisse. Mitoma. This is where they're so good. It can be very good where you feel scoring first. Cisse following up. Huge amount. He's allowed him to have the shot, I guess. Here, Bruno Fernandes.
He struck it, but Wan-Bissaka's challenge had to be spot on. He run into, as Mitoma comes in off the line, Wan-Bissaka's making up just stood his ground, and Fernandes has run into challenge. Chance is there to strike. He screams, he hit the deck, he slices it. I think he's all right. Just wide, but that is a good tackle from Wan-Bissaka.
Which brilliant tackle.
Tries to cut back, and you see, Stupinian just holds his ground. Certainly praised him for him, rightly so. Good defending.
It takes a bit of catching, Mitoma. Wan-Bissaka, who is known for his speed defensively. It's probably his #1 strength. Character, the sort of challenges, hard person to get away from. Strong of mind, strong of body. The right choice, you feel, against a very pacey, an artistic temperament. Mitoma making not just great strides, but very quick strides. Ericsson in English football. Ahead of him, Ericsson.
Well, Casado's penalised. He just nudges Martial in the back. Martin, it's a game that's just then bubbling under at the moment, rather dramatically. Yes, there's a push. Over he goes.
Stop the cross. It's a
poor
message
challenge from Casado.
Says Caicedo, and stop it. He did.
Yeah, good defending.
Players being chased by so-called bigger clubs.
Again, always the call when defending in wide position. Stop the crosses coming in. Casado does a good job there, but does obviously concede the corner.
This group with Brighton still want to do something special. But they've got to do a bit of special defending. To an Ericsson free kick. There's Anthony. It's a back across, but Brighton in the 41st minute made Manchester United push back a bit. easier space for the goalkeeper.
Yes, good defending. As soon as the ball's cleared, they come up that 5 yards, clear the 6-yard box.
Toma breaks out. Supported by March, but pass just made him put the brakes on.
Just slightly overhit.
Had 3 or 4 other players he could have played. The ball too. There's Gross. Good pressure. And Cisse Shaw prepared to go in there and joust with Welbeck. In this first half, the sides Cisse attacking the goal behind which Lindelof does like to take the ball on the half turn. The Paraguayan, it's a real skill. Defenders hate it.
Absolutely, Martin. There's been 2 or 3 occasions where he just receives the ball, twisting and turning. You can see Lindelof's pulling the shirt off his back as he's spinning away from him. The way he's accepting the ball, he's asking real questions of those United centre halves.
Have been a few more fouls than that, but
well, I think they're enjoying their day out. Just like the game is pretty even. The way their team's gone about it. It has been as we thought, a very tight semi-final.
What are you thinking here, Clive, as a player? It was a rival for the touchy eyebrow then, but not quite as we are, and come again, or?
I think maintain this game plan, the way they're setting about it, the football they're playing, the way they're trying to open up Manchester United.
Here's
interesting.
Lindelof
is quite animated. Well, Matoma got the run on Wan-Bissaka, and Lindelof read it well to come across. A couple of minutes, literally like a statue forward in the Manchester United technical area, and he still hasn't moved yet.
I'll be hoping his defenders don't stand like statues. He's trying to ease it out. So Rashford, who's hardly had involvement in the game.
He has had a quiet first half as Marcus Rashford.
That blow in the ribs. He has been out for a couple of games recently.
He's taking his hands out of his pocket.
28 goals. That counts as movement. Dunk. Cisse nearly ran back to the Paraguayan. Webster. Ericsson. Come and try and nick it. Obviously, we'll play round you. That's what Brighton were trying to do. And
good pressure again from Caicedo on Ericsson, not allowing him to pitch the pass as he's trying to just break those lines in Brighton's midfield. Christian Eriksen. Brilliant from Matoma.
Look not dissimilar from Casemiro. It was far side. Definitely not the same because he's put 3 added minutes.
Well, he's saying no, Casemiro, but the referee...
Bruno Fernandes with a chance to make the most of.
He's kicking through the back.
The regulation time is
through the back of an opponent. That is a yellow. That's a big chance.
It's really well crafted.
Tries to win initially there, but then wonderful side foot volley goes from Casemiro to give the chance for Fernandes, and he's just slightly pulled across it. That volley, superbly passed, weighted into his path. Can't hit the target.
Martial's just shot him a glance to say, well, he could have slid that across his World Cup winners' medal. But he wants an FA Cup winners' medal now. Another step towards it. Penultimate step. It's always difficult to hit those shots from that kind of angle and keep them absolutely straight. Well, you just cut across the ball a little bit.
Unless it's hit perfectly, there's only a small window to hit on that far side. Well, it was a brilliant tackle, Martin.
A wrestling match with Shaw of the Wan-Bissaka textbook, wasn't it?
Absolutely. He's back on now.
Chase.
There's too much of that in the game for me, Martin. Just players pulling, grabbing, just wrestling with one another in challenges.
Cisse trying to take it on the half turn, and then he makes the interception. Now he's on the ball. De Gea had a gross disastrous night on Thursday. It would be just like him to have a peerless performance. Deciding not to do that either. Martial did well. And he saw the goalkeeper off his line and got the free kick.
And look at the Manchester United players surrounding Craig Porter. They feel that Webster should get a yellow card for that challenge. He's out of his penalty box. As that ball is turned over, you can see.
But this is something the game's got to deal with.
As far as his penalty
spot. Too much surrounding of the officials.
Martial just trying to chip it over him into the empty net.
Asking for VAR, which is there anyway.
But the difference there is that he actually is pulling out of the challenge. He does make contact, yes. Ten Hag's furious.
March
but he makes contact, but he's not kicking through the back of the opponent. That's the difference, I feel, in the interpretation from the referee. He doesn't feel that warrants a yellow card for the nature of the challenge.
Stop that happening. Robert Jones, the fourth official. Casemiro trying to explain that to Erik ten Hag.
Well, there's a little tap from McAllister. There's words now between him and Casemiro. De Zerbi is not happy with that decision anyway.
Erik ten Hag's got out of regulation. De Zerbi's the verbal firing line. There will be a fair bit to add, one feels.
It just seemed to me, just from his body language, Martin, his concerns about his team and the way that they're playing at the moment.
Mitoma's got to defend again. Lindelof's had Anthony. Nicely done by Bruno Fernandes. Eriksson going for the Hollywood pass.
Game where you feel scoring first.
Found Marcus Rashford.
Huge amount.
Half-time closing and Manchester United closing in, and Eriksson found himself on the end of a move that he's played a big part efficiently and emphatically.
And I think he just missed it. What a sensational pass off the outside of his right boot. Just stood his ground. Fernandes just run into him, and that is superb. He screamed, he hit the deck. He's then one-on-one with Gross. Picks out the supporting, tries to cut back. You see, Stubenham just holds his ground, just allows Sanchez to clear right defending with his right boot.
Closing seconds before half-time. Martial sliding, Luke Shaw not quite in. Coming to the right left back. Clive, what have you? How would you score it at this point at 0-0, if you know what I mean?
At 0-0, I think if you looked at
taking the boxing analogy, who's landed the better blows so far?
I think it's just been an even contest. Neither side has really taken control. And when there's been the moments, and there's been few of them, they just haven't had that cutting edge either team to make it just bubbling under at the moment.
There's another moment. And stop the cross is the message to Moises Caicedo.
Only just good defending.
The margins of the half, really. Again, they make it count.
Always the call when defending in wide position, stop the crosses coming in. Caicedo does a good job there, but does obviously concede the corner.
Well, it's flown by.
Yeah, but that was bizarre because the referee blew the whistle as Solly March is crossing the ball.
Well, Christian Eriksen had a shot late in the half, but it's plenty from Brighton to be pleased with. 41st minute, quite worked De Gea maybe as much as they could have done. Mitoma's had his moments. Bruno Fernandes has been in and out of it. His best pass have been very good. Been a bit grumpy as well. It's been football-wise good, but physically as well. It's been a strong game. And we reach half-time without a goal, and we're still near knowing who play Manchester City early in June in the FA Cup final. Other players will unfold after the break. Ball 2. Here's Gross. Pressure by Shaw, prepared to go in there and joust with the second is underway. And I'm sure many of you have noted that unusually Manchester United won all 4 rounds to get to the semi-final by 3 goals to 1. That's 12 goals. Does like to take the ball. The last 11 of those 12. It's a real skill. Defenders hate it.
Absolutely, Martin. There's been 2 or 3 occasions where he just receives the ball, twisting it. I think he'll take one at the moment. Pulling the shirt off his back as he's spinning away from him. The way he's accepting the ball, he's asking real questions of those United centre-halves.
Have been a few more fouls than that,
but it's just like the game is pretty even. 5-4.
Caicedo, not all the stoppages have been through fouls. Here's March. What do you think? Very left-footed from the right for Brighton. Inverted time. Winger, as they're called. As we are, and come again, or
I think maintain this game plan, the way they're setting about it, the football they're playing, the way they're trying to open up Manchester United.
Feels like Manchester United believe there will be errors made by Brighton. They're just digging in, waiting for those mistakes to happen.
By the time we've got the run on Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof read it well to come away with.
Here comes Anthony, who started the first half well and then faded. He's not fading here. Webster trying to roll it across. And Martial, and nearly took it back into trouble. Ease it out to Rashford.
Martial just didn't attack the space at the near post area. Anthony just rolled it into the area, expecting
Martial to attack it, and he didn't.
Blowing the ribs.
Tidied up by
been out.
The Brighton defence once again.
Recently. Fantastic season, 28 goals.
It's a good break. He's one-on-one with Dunk. You see with his head up, he's looking for the options. It's just a pass into that area. Martial, for me, a fraction late. Should really be trying to get across the front of Webster. Good pressure again from Casido on Ericsson, not allowing him to pick the pass as he's trying to just break those lines in Brighton's midfield. Christian Eriksen
again, taken from him by a combination of McAllister and Matoma. Anthony stayed down. A word from the far side. With the dugouts to March. 3 added minutes. Still going. Oh, here's Bruno Fernandes with a chance to make the most of Solly March, Manchester United. Regulation time that's left.
Real ramble. Martin, that's a big chance, but it's really well crafted just by Manchester United.
The ball back,
a wonderful side foot volley from Casemiro to give the chance for Fernandes, and he's just slightly pulled across it. That volley, superbly passed, weighted into his path, can't hit the target.
McAllister's just shot him a glance to say, well, he could have slid that across. Again, and Ciso just trying to at the far post, keep the defender in and roll in behind. It's always difficult to hit those shots from that kind of angle, keep it absolutely straight. March, well, just cut across the ball a little bit.
Unless it's hit perfectly, there's only a small window to hit on that far side.
Who hesitates, loses the ball in a wrestling match with Shaw. Brighton have it back, and they're making a strong start to the second half. Chase.
And they are probing. Too much keeping the ball for me, Martin. High up just players pulling, looking for that pass, just wrestling with one another. Can make the all-important chance. Good start from Brighton and Hove Albion.
De Gea had a disastrous night on Thursday. It would be just like him to have a peerless performance here. Well, some teams really believe in crowding David De Gea. Saw the goalkeeper off his line, and it was worth the try.
And what a chance, he knows.
It is the Brighton way.
Because Sanchez is out of his penalty box.
First half, tried to have a second
as
player
that
out
ball
there.
Is turned over, you can see that's just backpedaling. He gets back as far as his penalty spot.
Outswinger, left-footed in-swinger.
Just trying to chip it over him into the empty net. Headers for Brighton are on the penalty spot.
One of them is Lewis Dunk, who heads it back. McAllister to Estupinian. He goes for power. He could do and sacrifices accuracy.
Well, it's clever. Dunk heads it back for Estupinian. He takes a touch, pulls away. Soft cushion header.
Trying to press and stop.
He then takes a touch but fires wildly.
Manchester United haven't got going yet in the second half.
Well, there's a little tap from McAllister. There's words now between him and Casemiro. De Zerbi
better than he did.
Not happy with that decision anyway.
Predominantly the Seagulls. Erik ten Hag's got out of De Zerbi's verbal firing line.
Well, I do wonder if their travels and the result on Thursday night just might from his body language, along his concerns about his team goes on as well, Martin.
He wasn't sure, Lindelof's assistant, that whether it ran down by Bruno Fernandes. Thought it did. Ericsson going for the Hollywood pass, but it's found Marcus Rashford. Half-time closing, and Manchester United closing in, and Ericsson found himself on the end of a move that he played a big part in.
And I think he just mishit it. What a sensational pass off the outside of his right boot to Marcus Rashford. Watch this, the touch, and that is superb. Rashford stays on side. He's then one-on-one with Gross, picks out the supporting Ericsson, but that shot into the ground just allows Sanchez to clear right with his right boot.
Closing seconds before half-time. Martial sliding, go long. Luke Shaw not quite in. How would you score it at this point at 0-0, if you know what I mean?
At 0-0.
Yeah,
I think if you looked at
taking the boxing analogy, who's landed the better blows so far?
I think it's just been an even contest. Neither side has really taken control.
Sassuolo,
when there's been the moments, and there's been few of them, they just haven't had that cutting edge either team
at the wrong time
to make it count.
30 games in charge of Shakhtar Donetsk before the world changed.
Martin, they're out, but only just are they out.
That's the margins of the half, really. Can they make it count? De Gea finding Shaw. Shaw finding Dallas March. And it's half-time. It's a bit short, isn't it?
Well, that stepped in. Yeah, but that was bizarre because the referee blew the whistle as Solly March is crossing the ball.
Taking one for the team.
Absolutely. Caicedo did brilliant first to take the ball away from Casemiro there and around him. And when he toes that ball forward,
with haven't quite worked De Gea maybe as much as they could have done. Thomas had his moments. Bruno Fernandes has been in and out of it. And his best parts have been very good. Been a bit grumpy as well. A yellow card. It's been for the standing centre-back, but physically as well. It's been a strong game, and we reach half-time without a goal. Here for England. We're still no back knowing who will play Manchester City early in June in the FA Cup final. Will all unfold after the break. Dunk. Did get to it. Cisse. Martial looking like a defender, really. The second is underway.
Enough, Martin, in the end.
And I'm sure many of you have noted that here's McAllister. Manchester United won all 4 rounds to get to the semi-final by 3 goals to 1. That's 12 goals in total.
United, who are sitting
11
back
of those 12
seem to be happy to defend, and wait for that slight mistake
for that man.
or wait for the opportunity. With the team, he'll take one at the moment just to get his team in front. And the way this game is unfolding, it could well be that one goal that he's going to make the difference.
Gets the ball. Concern for the ex-Manchester United player, and the current one, Caicedo. Here's March, very left-footed from the right, the inverted winger as they're called. Off the official. Feels like Manchester United half-time lead. There will be errors made by Brighton. Profit without honouring his homeland, waiting the old saying goes, to happen. There've been 2 or 3 that the rated in German South Coast have got away with. Wonderful job. Here comes Anthony. He started the first half well and then faded. Fighting for their lives to stay in the Premier League. To roll it across. Martial and Estupinian nearly took it back into trouble.
But Martial just didn't attack the space at the near post area. Anthony just rolled it into that area, expecting Martial to attack it, and he didn't. And tidied up by the Brighton defence once again. It's a good break. He's one-on-one with Dunk. You see with his head up, he's looking for the options. It's just a pass into that area. Martial, for me, a fraction late. Should really be trying to get across the front of Webster.
Of course, and lets the game go on. Thomas grateful for that. He's isolated Wan-Bissaka here. Anthony again, the defender, taken from him by a combination of McAllister and Mitoma. Anthony stayed down. Fernandes is down again.
I just feel Brighton are a little bit sharper, they're a little bit quicker at the moment, Martin. They're a little bit pedestrian, Manchester United, not moving the ball quick enough, getting caught too often in possession of the ball.
A real group of players, many of whom played on Thursday.
It's Casemiro that just almost passed the ball back to Solly March. Really sloppy.
And his fatigue only enhanced, really. Brighton get a corner.
Well, should he have cleared it first time? I think he's probably feeling that now. He's tried to control it as Lindelof, and in the end concedes the corner.
Cisse just trying to keep the defender go short this time. It's signature move, the back seems. Mitoma, fire it through a lot of bodies. Oh! It was Enciso's drive in the end that De Gea dealt with.
Oh, it's a fabulous strike from Enciso. Snapshot with that left foot. Casemiro headed off the line
to the second half.
I think it's Webster's header that's cleared by Casemiro. Mitoma fires it in, looking in the end. Enciso, instinctive strike, make the all-important chance. Good style, just be staying under the crossbar. De Gea, good fingertip save.
And Enciso got the better of a Spanish goalkeeper at Stamford Bridge last weekend, Kepa Arrizabalaga, who's taken over from David De Gea in the national team.
Well, that was a right foot thunderbolt, wasn't it, Martin?
Some teams
this was
really
a left
believe
foot
in
snapshot.
crowding David De Gea. It's not the Brighton
did well
way.
to keep out.
Webster going in again and round the back.
There's a big chance.
As you spotted in the first half, to have a second player out convert it.
Yeah, that's
he did score with a header at
variation
Chelsea.
across, right-footed outswinger, left-footed in-swinger. Breaks off of the
he's
shoulder and swinging. The three headers for Brighton are on the penalty spot.
He'll be really disappointed he hasn't headed that down on target.
Who heads it back to Estupinian. Who goes for power and sacrifices accuracy.
Well, it's clever.
On
Don't
the
hit
team
it back for Estupinian. He takes a touch.
More FA Cup
pulls away.
Than any other. It's the 31st
soft cushion
for
header.
Manchester United today.
He then takes a touch but fires wildly.
Only the third for Brighton. Well, Manchester United haven't got going yet in the second half. Got to the final and lost to Manchester United in 1983. They beat Sheffield Wednesday. There was that break from Anthony that Martial could have attacked much better than he did when it's Manchester City. It's been predominantly the seagulls from Eric Ten Hag. Lindelof. Fred's getting ready to come on.
I do wonder if their travels and the result on Thursday night might play a part the longer this game goes on as well, Martin. Agree, Martin. I think certainly
he wasn't sure
needs to impact his team as the manager.
Whether it ran down,
time's approaching the hour mark.
Of Estupinian. We are not amused. Here is Anthony. He was trying to whip it inside. That's his, I suppose his signature goal, isn't it? When he comes in on his left foot. Let's talk about inverted wingers. He's one.
Well, that is his favourite side. Fernandes does really well with a little pass into him. Then he goes on the overlap. He wants it cut back into his path, does Fernandes. But Anthony's always going inside, looking for that left foot shot. Appreciates and acknowledges the run. But he just had one thing in his mind there.
Not wanting to go long. Dunk, surveying the scene. Every win a free kick. Almost an hour gone.
Martial,
second semi-final.
Trying to defend from the front.
Dusted by this time yesterday, really, with that Riyad Mahrez hat-trick for Manchester City against Sheffield United. The first semi-final hat-trick since one for Manchester United. Club, even before Clive's time, I do remember Alex Dawson. Ukraine at the wrong time. He had a 1958, which was a very pointy game, of course, for the Old Trafford the world changed.
I wasn't born, Martin.
There's McAllister. So March. De Gea. It's a touch from De Gea. Shaw finding Dalot. It's a throw-in.
And it was Estupinian who was forward there.
Caicedo stepped in.
Direct pass forward. It's Estupinian who tries to control it.
Taking one for the team.
Absolutely. McAllister feeds it wide to March. And this time he goes first with a right foot cross to take the ball away. And again, Casemiro there and around it. And when he toes that ball forward,
Webster.
The challenge from short.
Casemiro was
one of
the stops that lost the ball into, and he's absolutely right. Marcus Rashford, of whom we've seen card. Precious little, really, for the stand-in centre-back. Stopped by Webster.
He got back, Martin. He was dispossessed higher up the field, but he got back and Webster to dispossess Rashford.
Euro 2020 final. One from Caicedo. Wan-Bissaka steps in. He did get to it. Cisse was fouled. Martial looking like a defender, really. Now he's really been put back with a referee letting play go on, which is right. And Anthony's got a chance because of it. Here's McAllister. Time gets to the way.
It's brilliant refereeing. Manchester United nearly capitalised on the back. They just see advantage, happy to defend. I just think he's going to come back and put Estupinian when the game does eventually stop. Opportunity with the turnover of the ball to counter.
Anthony. There's a bit of a push by Casemiro in the middle. And Cisse. Oh, and now goes Lindelof. Gets the ball. Paulson has turned away from that one as well. That did look like a break was on for...
Cisse spinning in behind Lindelof there.
Well, in trying to let the game flow, could easily have stopped it for Estupinian, but it was a good advantage for Manchester United. Christian Eriksen is off just past the hour mark. Plays by Fred. Was he given the foul here? I think he did. Concern for the ex-Manchester United player was our current one. Interrupted, shall we say.
Well, the referee has just signalled that it's a throw-in, Martin,
yeah.
So
I don't think he would have given it straight away, wouldn't he, if he'd seen it was quite close to it. So, yeah. The team need a bit of refuelling as well. I think it probably went out off the official. Talking at half-time, Clive, about Pascal Gross, who's
well, for me,
a prophet without honour in his homeland, as the old saying goes. He's not really rated in German football. He's done a wonderful job. Brighton in pretty different circumstances. Had the game been stopped, fighting for their lives to stay in the Premier League, and now because it wasn't stopped, it's a benefit and a qualifier for Europe for the Premier League.
I think, as we see today, his versatility is quite incredible.
In the way, like I said, it's a rare misplaced pass in the second half from Brighton.
But a good Manchester United press, which we haven't seen in this second half.
Lindelof. Trying to make the space to play into. Manchester United come up with an answer. Casemiro, it's a well-delivered pass. If there's a runner, and the runner was Bruno Fernandes. By Anthony closing in again. Pushed away by Sanchez. That's the game go on. Retrieved by Martial. Was grateful for that. Better for Manchester United. Wan-Bissaka here. Well played the defender. Shaw. Martial. Fernandes is down as Rashford.
I just feel Brighton a little bit sharper, a little bit quicker at the moment. Good spell from Manchester United. Pedestrian. Anthony with the shot, not moving the ball really quick enough, hit it with any power that was pushed away by Sanchez. But United pressing, keep the ball alive.
Many of whom played on Thursday.
Rashford through McAllister's legs.
Webster
takes it away from Enciso, pull back from behind, and United free kick. This was the Casemiro ball in behind. Fernandes who's run. As soon as that ball went square, he took off, knew where Anthony was. It first time, I think he's probably feeling that shot. Tried to control it, keeps it out, and in the end concedes the corner.
But it only looks really good if there's somebody running into that channel.
Yeah, it's a ball into the space, but it is all about the runners.
The back. Far it through with part of a slight change of the tide here. It was Enciso's drive in the end that De Gea dealt with.
Oh, it's a fabulous strike from Enciso. Snapshot with that left foot. Casemiro headed off the line. Well, a really good position. Free kick rise for Manchester United. Cleared by Casemiro. Mitoma fires it in, and in the end, Enciso, instinctive strike. That might well just be staying under the crossbar. De Gea, good fingertip save.
Fred Marcus Rashford just put his goalkeeper at Stamford Bridge last weekend.
Just been told to go and catch the numbers in the wall. Well, that was a right foot thunderbolt, wasn't it, Martin? This was a left foot snapshot which De Gea did well to keep out.
And Craig Pawson had just gone to enforce that part of the legislation.
Chance, that's a big chance.
Away. Just the way Danny Welbeck did convert it. Was gone wandering across. He did score with a header at Chelsea.
And you see, he breaks off of the shoulder of Martial. That's a clear header.
It's Fernandes.
He'll be really disappointed he hasn't headed that down on target. Well, you can see the frustration on his face, and it is a poorly struck free kick in terms of the height. It's never going up and over that wall. Webster, you can see, just punches
it's the 31st for
after making the block. Today.
Only the third Joel Veltman, who has more often than not been in the team and experience. 1983, they beat Sheffield Wednesday. Ajax. Dutch International 2019. The youngster Julio Enciso has certainly again given us more than a glimpse of the talent that Brighton have brought into by bringing in another player from another South American country.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic young talent. Enciso, a big game, and he's acquitted himself very, very well.
And now the goalkeeper. So Veltman will go to right back when it's
certainly he needs to impact his team, does the manager. And that time's approaching the hour mark.
A bit further forward, maybe a bit more centrally as well.
Yeah, Gross going in there, almost matching up now with Fred, who's been introduced by Manchester United.
A scuff pass from Caicedo, trying to Shaw stepping in. He was trying to whip it inside. That's his Fred. I suppose his signature goal, isn't it, when he comes in on his left foot? Talk about inverted wingers.
Well, that is his favourite side. Fernandes does really well with a little pass into him. Then he goes on the overlap. He wants it cut back into his path, this Fernandes. But Anthony's always going inside, looking for that left foot shot. Appreciates and acknowledges the run.
Newcastle, we've had quite.
He just had one thing in his mind there.
Dunk surveying the scene. Casemiro. See how it's gone in the second semi-final.
Well, it's a clever attempt. He scoops that ball over the top
this time. Yesterday, really, with that Riyad Mahrez hat-trick for Manchester City against Sheffield United.
Couldn't
first semi-final hat-trick since one for Manchester United. Even before Clive's time, I do remember it. Alex Dawson against Fulham in 1958, which was a very poignant year, of course, for Manchester United. Had to eliminate
I wasn't born, Martin.
3 fellow Premier League sides, and Everton, West Ham and Fulham. Fulham was here's McAllister in a chaotic situation where the manager, and it's a touch from the sent off.
Yeah, I think you would say Brighton have had the. And it was slightly easier who was forward there.
But they did knock out the whole
direct pass went forward. It's Stupinan who tries to control it, but it pops out to McAllister, who feeds it wide to March, and this time he goes with a right foot cross. And again, that's an important touch from De Gea.
To beat everybody to win this.
Webster. A bit lucky. Grimsby from League Two. Casemiro, I reckon, with a bit of space to loft the ball into, and he's absolutely right. Marcus Rashford, whom we've seen precious little, really, backed up for Manchester United by Casemiro.
He got back, Martin. He was dispossessed higher up the field, but he got back with Webster to dispossess Rashford.
Lovely touch by March. And from Caicedo. Peters out, though, for Ten Hag. Bissaka steps in.
That last 5 minutes, a better spell for Manchester United.
Got the ball with gusto. Now he's really been put back, but the referee letting play go on, which is right. And Anthony's got a chance because of it. Toma gets it away.
It's brilliant refereeing. Manchester United nearly capitalise on the advantage.
Now they want to play.
I just think he's going to come back and put Stupinan when the game does eventually stop. Such a difficult pass, a diagonal into the path of the on-running fullback.
Pushed by Casemiro in the middle. Oh, and now squeeze that through. Fernandes has turned away from that one as well. That did look like a break was on for
Enciso spinning in behind Lindelof there.
Chase. Flag is up. Well, in trying to let the game flow, could easily have stopped it for Stupinan, but it was a good advantage for Manchester United. Christian Eriksen is coming off just past the hour mark. Replaced by Fred. Was he given the foul here? 20 minutes of the 90 left. And of course, there was interrupted, shall we say. Recognition of extra time. Should it be required? Penalties, should they be required? Has happened.
Well, the referee has just signalled that it's a throw-in, Martin.
Manchester United. I don't think he would have given it straight away, wouldn't he, if he'd seen it was quite close to it. Penalties to Everton. The team need a bit of refuelling as well. Berbatov and Rio Ferdinand were the culprits in the shootout.
Well, for me, Stupinan is very fortunate.
Just in time. Development wasn't particularly violent, was it? But had the game been stopped, he would certainly been booked. But because it wasn't stopped, he's got the benefit, I guess, of the referee letting the game go. Martial. On the way by Caicedo. It's a rare misplaced pass in the second half from Brighton.
But a good Manchester United press, which we haven't seen in this second half. There's good hold-up play into his feet. Lindelof keeping his body between the ball and Webster, and then in the end he just hooks his ankle away from him.
Casemiro, it's another well-delivered pass. If there's a runner, and the runner was Bruno Fernandes. Antony closing in again. Pushed away by Lindelof. Sanchez. Retrieved by Martial. Much better from Manchester United. It was much needed. Fred. It's a bundle of energy. Shaw. Martial. Good solid defending. Here's Rashford. Marked down by Enciso. He scored a couple of goals in this
United.
progress to the
Antony with the shot didn't really hit it with any power. That was pushed away by Sanchez. But United pressing, keep the ball alive. And then Rashford through McAllister's legs. Takes it away from Enciso. Pull back from behind. Man United free kick. This was a Casemiro ball in behind Fernandes, who run. As soon as that ball went square, he took off. Knew where Antony was.
Left back of the...
It wasn't the fiercest of shots.
Attacking persuasion. He's hit a couple of those, Casemiro, hasn't he? McAllister. Turn the defenders. But it only looks really good if there's somebody running into that channel.
Yeah, it's a ball into the space, but it is all about the runners.
Took as much of the man, if not more of the man, than the ball. Part of a slight change in the tide here.
Slightly heavy touch, Martin, as that ball's fed to him by Soliman. It's a clever ball. Plays the 1-2, goes for a return. And Lindelof, really good position, free kick wise for Manchester United. Lindelof might well have been suffered a little bit of a dead leg himself.
A couple
there.
Of major candidates, Bruno Fernandes, with placement and stealth, whip and dip.
Yeah,
Marcus Rashford, 18-year-old Evan Ferguson, Brighton's top scorer in the FA Cup.
You've just been told to go make extra numbers in the wall.
That's exactly what they've done. Not allowed to be there unless you're a metre away. I think that's what the Brighton players are saying. A different end of his career, just gone to enforce that part of the legislation. Has to be a metre ex-England, we have to call him now, but a good international career. Martial, rather, has gone wandering across. So, a very popular figure in the game. Take your pick from these two. It's Fernandes. The ball, Fernandes again into the crowd.
Well, you can see the frustration on his face, and it is a poorly struck free kick in terms of the height. It's never going up and over that wall. Webster, you can see, just punches
Welbeck
after making the block.
So Joel Veltman, who has more often than not been in the team, an experienced signing from Ajax, Dutch international, and the youngster Julio Enciso, certainly again given us more than a glimpse of the talent that Brighton have ruefully brought into by being another player from another South American country.
Yeah, absolutely, fantastic young talent. Enciso, a big game, and he's acquitted himself very, very well.
So Veltman will go to right back, one assumes. Lindau has scored in the third round at Middlesbrough, a bit further forward, maybe a bit more centrally as well. And in the quarter-final, home to Grimsby in a big win.
Yeah, Gross going in there, almost matching up now with Fred, who's been introduced by Manchester United.
A scuff pass from Caicedo. Shaw stepping in. Can he make himself a hero for Brighton?
You're right, Martin.
It's been the most successful period in Manchester United's history the last 5 or 6 years, but there are plenty of winners' medals, opportunity knocking for Manchester United. Not this time, not all with this club, but maybe this time. Winners here at Wembley just 8 weeks ago against Newcastle. We've had quite a day today. Bruno Fernandes able to turn. Sanchez, although he had to reach out forward rather than take it. See how one line of his body. He's always going to get
a clever attempt. He scoops that ball over the top. There's a bit of an inquest going on that Manchester United front line when Martial Fernandes turned with the ball. They thought he might well have struck it before chipping it towards that back post area.
I think he realised how much room he had.
I think that was what was being said. He was saying that he just wasn't given the information.
Manchester United have had to eliminate his dunk, fellow Premier League sides, and Everton, West Ham and Fulham. Fulham was ended up in a chaotic situation where two players were sent off. McAllister play a bit further forward now.
Yeah, I think you would say Brighton have had the slightly easier of runs to get here.
But they did knock out the holders, Clive, didn't they, Liverpool?
Absolutely, which was an amazing result.
a real difference in terms of fixtures. It's Brighton's 37th.
You have to beat everybody to win this.
Manchester United's 53rd. They beat Grimsby from League Two. So if freshness is a factor, maybe it's part of their progress. You see the Seagulls, it goes from shore. Producing that firm finish here by Casemiro. And it's Dalot on the break. Wan-Bissaka. Advantage played again well by Craig Pawson. As Peters out though for Ten Hag's team.
But last 5 minutes on the floor, spell for Manchester United. But Dalot
they don't like to show the yellow card until the player gets up. Which is why players say yes down a bit.
He did catch Dalot because he released the ball to Marcus Rashford.
It's unlucky it was another indication how they want to play there. The longer passes from the back are passes.
Poor challenge. Advantage played once again. A difficult pass at diagonal to into the path of the on-running fullback.
Those kind of players always in the thick of the mix in midfield. Sure, squeeze that through. Reach Fernandez, top of the club. Tony Bloom runs it with extraordinary diligence and expertise. He's on the chase. I'll be thinking, surely he's going to win a big one here and get to an FA Cup final. He will remember the one back in 1983.
Well, Rashford's on the floor. Veltman stepped in front of him. He felt he was clipped. That last break from Brighton, just sloppy from Estupiñán at that last moment, the vital moment when you need that quality of pass. Just sloppy off the outside of his boot, gave the ball away needlessly.
And of course, the Webster. It has been a bit like that, hasn't it, both sides? Extra time, should it be required? Penalties, should they be required? It has happened as a goal to get into a final here before for Manchester United. They quite the semi-final managed that key last pass. But his march now, Everton, in the way by Shaw. Webster, I don't think can avoid a yellow card this time. Rio Ferdinand away to try and avoid it. Craig Pawson has been keeping his cards close to his chest, shall we say.
He has, yeah. And I thought maybe just the theatrics of Martial here.
Just in time.
Yes, he pulls him, but then the way he throws himself to the ground. Free kick given rightly.
I think there's a certain amount of consistency here in not showing the card. Almost into the territory where that famous training game, first goal wins, grabbing, or next goal wins.
He's getting to that sort of time. There's good hold-up play into his feet, keeping his body between the ball and Webster, and then in the end he just hooks his ankle away from him.
Now Dunk, Fred. Lindelof. Toma might get there. Dropped off Wan-Bissaka. There's McAllister. There's a bundle of energy. March. Now Gross. Fred's there.
And that was just an example of it, Martin. Solly Marsh's pass was just not precise enough.
Gross on that far side.
Adjust his run.
Scored a couple of goals in this progress to the
down.
semi-final for Manchester United against Reading and West Ham.
And even for two sets of players with experience, Premier League experience, you're going into the period of the game where you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to slip. Whether it's you're just not going to take that little bit of risk that could be costly.
And left back of the attacking persuasion, Steve McLaren flanking McAllister. Ten Hag. Bit of a brains trust going on there. Brighton is well going on here. He took as much of the man, if not more of the man, than the ball. Free kick.
Yeah,
in Lindelof's favour.
Slightly heavy touch, Martin.
A change of direction again.
Fed to him by Solly March. Clever ball.
Casemiro's on the yellow card.
Goes for the return.
I think he did too much wrong.
Across.
The referee's letting this go on as well.
Crashes into Lindelof. Did Casemiro foul? Then was he fouled? But the referee just waved two possible decisions for free kicks away, and the game goes on.
Yeah.
And amazingly, the players are up and are back in the action very quickly.
18-year-old Evan Ferguson, Brighton stopped the FA Cup. He had 3 goals, not fully focused on the ball. He is now fit today. Of course, he's been sent off twice. Well back, his first season with Manchester United. A different end of his career, really. A different part of his career towards the end. Ex-England, we have to call him now, but his international career. Still going. And De Gea got it the first time. Very popular figure in the game. Got it the second time as Pascal Gross tried to feed on the rebound. He could have been offside.
Well, Solly March coming off that right side, looking for the angle on his favoured left foot. Shapes to hit it the first time, moves it again, then tries to pull it back into that near post. De Gea had to be smartly down through Fred's legs.
He's going to replace.
That's a good left hand, and he doesn't push it out. He manages to claim it before Gross can knock it into the net.
Talk of a new contract for David De Gea, despite the errors that are always so public for a goalkeeper, particularly a Manchester United goalkeeper. But there is the suggestion that it will be on reduced terms. Willfully hardship for De Gea, sensibly.
I think he's wanting to stay, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is unfortunate for Danny Welbeck.
Jadon Sancho. Wouldn't scored part in that in the third round at Middlesbrough game. It was his shot that was handled on the line by Willian, and in the quarter-final to Grimsby in a big win. A penalty, Willian being sent off, and also the reaction. Feeling for the FA Cup, Marco Silva, the Fulham manager, and Alexander Mitrovic, who picked up an 8-game suspension for what he did. Here's McAllister, make himself a hero for Brighton.
You're right, Martin. Opportunity knocks now for him.
Caught by Anthony. Here's Martial, maybe opportunity knocking for Manchester United, but not this time. Well, club football's pretty tough in Argentina. Maybe this time. I think Alexis McAllister, who comes from a footballing family, of course. Knows how to. Bruno Fernandes able to turn. It's been a game with plenty of tackles. Had to reach out forward rather than take it.
You're right, the referee has been consistent with the way that he's interpreted
to get there before
and issuing yellow cards. Well, there's a bit of an inquest going on that Manchester United front line when Fernandes turned with the ball. They thought he might well have struck it before chipping it towards that back post area.
He realised how much room he had.
I think that was what was being said. He was saying that he just wasn't given the information.
Real tussle with Anthony. Picked in by his gun-timer, but free kick given in Manchester United's favour. And again. Well, it was a surprise when the team sheet came out with Martial's name on it. Gross in midfield. But Eric Ten Hag has said in the last couple of weeks, we play better football when Martial's in the team. So you can understand why he took a chance on it. He's got 85 minutes out of it.
Well, he is the leader of the line. He's that centre forward. It's now meant Sancho's come on the left. Marcus Rashford is now going to play down the middle for United.
Manchester United's 53rd. So if freshness is a factor, maybe it's we'll see the Seagulls. Webster seeing a firm finish here. And it's Dalot on the break. Advantage played again well by Craig Pawson. Stupinian.
Well, Casado's on the floor, but it was his challenge.
Into trouble.
But Dalot
they don't like to show the yellow card until the player gets up.
And Webster's back pass and then his follow-through has actually caught Marcus Rashford, who's now on the deck. He did catch Dalot as he released the ball to Marcus Rashford. That is late. That is a poor challenge. Advantage. He has a look. He can certainly feel that Marcus Rashford is on his shoulder.
The kind of players
playing
always
the ball,
in the thick of the mix in
just
midfield.
catches Rashford's left ankle.
From the top of the club, Tony Bloom runs it with extraordinary diligence and expertise. Of course, there was an extra substitute allowed in extra time. Surely we're going to win a big one here and get to an FA Cup final. He will remember the one back in 1983.
Well, Rashford's on the floor. Veltman stepped in front of him. He felt he was clipped. And that last break from Brighton, just sloppy from
Caicedo, but Manchester United
at that last moment, the vital moment when you need that quality of pass. Just sloppy off the outside of his boot, gave the ball away needlessly.
Fred. Sancho trying to place it. It has been a bit like that, hasn't it? Both sides.
A shot, he tries to wind into the far corner, was deflected away for the corner.
Ball.
Set by Fred, he just
into a final.
Moves the ball a fraction. And it's Solly March who gets the left boot to it to deflect it away.
Pass, but here's March now. Away by Shaw. Bruno Fernandes. Webster, I don't think I'm avoiding ticking off. This extra time approaching. It's run away. Great time to score. Craig Pawson has been keeping his cards close to his chest, shall we say.
He has, yeah. And I thought maybe just the theatrics of Martial here. Yes, he pulls him, but then the way he throws himself to the ground. Free kick given right
very well after that tweak of the ankle early in the game. Consistency here and not showing the card there, causing Manchester United problems. Here he is, almost into the territory where that famous training game, first goal wins, able to turn space between the lines. Goal wins.
It's getting to that sort of time.
To Undav, and it does go behind for a corner.
Well, it was deflected into Undav's path, and Wan-Bissaka just had to tidy up and could see the corner.
Now Dunk. .90 plus we're hearing 3 minutes. Toma might get there. Dropped off Wan-Bissaka. There's McAllister. Caicedo trying to produce a goal. Now Gross, those fans, Fred's there behind that goal.
And that was just an example of it, Martin. Yeah. Solly Marsh's pass was just not precise enough.
Gross this late stage.
Adjust his run. Fred's across quickly and the whole move breaks down.
Second touch was important from Sancho.
And Marcus Rashford back there doing his defensive job at the near post to head that away. And even for two sets of players with experience, Premier League experience, you're going into the period of the game where you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to slip. Whether it's you're just not going to take that little bit of risk that could be costly.
Extra time you sense would suit Brighton. Flanking Manchester United. Travel schedule going on there. Brighton going on here. Sancho, Mitoma going all the way through to Undav, cleared by Lindelof. Estupinian. Caicedo. Sancho gives chase. Change of direction again.
Martin, we wondered
Casemiro's on a yellow card
would be on this Manchester United squad. Not only just playing and travelling.
The referee's letting this go on as well.
Well, did Casemiro foul? Then was he fouled? But the referee's just waved two possible decisions for free kicks away, and the game goes on. And amazingly, the players are up and are back in the action very quickly. But their supporters are up this end.
Casemiro's.
And they're perhaps sensing just one last opportunity that could win this FA Cup semi-final.
In his first season with Manchester United. I think of the great finals, the Wigan goal. 10 years ago, from a corner, still going, still close to the end. The head got it the first time, and got it the second time as Pascal Gross tried to Manchester United and play Manchester City here. Could have been offside. In June.
Well, Solly March coming off that right side, looking for the angle on his favoured left foot. Just too high for Solly March to head down. Shakes to hit it the first time, moves it again, and tries to pull it back into that near post. The Gale had to be smartly down through Fred's legs.
March in April to play in
That's
June.
A good left hand, and he doesn't push it out. He manages to claim it before Gross can knock it into the net.
Talk of a new contract for David De Gea, despite the errors that are always so public for a goalkeeper, particularly a Manchester United goalkeeper. But there is the suggestion that it will be on reduced terms. Awkward for Wan-Bissaka, involve any great hardship for the De Gea Mitoma.
I think he's
wanting to go for it here. Just overran it, and in his wish to It was a genuine attempt to keep the ball, but it was a late lunge and an instant
and he caught Casemiro.
Full of game. It was his shot
really
that was held on the
ball
line by
away.
Willian, which led to a penalty. Willian being sent off. Also the reaction from Marco Silva, the full manager.
He's tackling out of distance as well.
An 8-game suspension for what he did. It's either scored or assisted in all
Here's
four of Brighton's cup ties in the earlier rounds to get to the semi-final. Caught by Anthony.
I've got to say Wan-Bissaka's played him well, because he certainly is a threat coming off the left onto his favoured right side.
Club football's pretty tough in Argentina as well, and I think Alexis McAllister, who comes from a footballing family, of course, knows how to withstand the knocks. And it's been a game with plenty of tackles, Clive.
There's been lots of tackles. You're right, the referee has been consistent with the way that he's interpreted.
It costs a lot of money for the fans
and issuing yellow
tickets
cards
for today, and much as they would like their respective teams to have booked a place to return in June, they wouldn't mind an extra half an hour for their cash.
Well, I do think they're going to get it, and no one's leaving.
Reverse took Stupinian by surprise.
Sure, there's drama in store.
Real tussle with Anthony. Pinned by Mitoma, but free kick given in Manchester United's favour. Up to Mitoma. Saw Gallop. Casemiro. Well, it was a surprise when the team sheet came out with Martial's name on. The end of the 90 minutes. Eric Ten Hag has said very poor, had a busy time dealing with football when Martial's in challenges in the efforts to get to the FA Cup final. De Gea 85 minutes out of it.
Well, he is the leader of the line. He's that centre forward.
Enciso in particular.
Come on the left. Marcus Rashford is now going to play down the middle for United.
Brighton look like they might have the freshness, and they can show that in extra time. But we reach it, and we go to 15 minutes each way, remember. At Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. Webster getting in front of Rashford. Extra time at Wembley, second FA Cup semi-final, Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. A change during the end of 90 minutes before we restart. Marcel Sabitzer is on into trouble for Anthony. Webster just got out of it.
And Webster's back pass and then his follow-through has actually caught Marcus Rashford, is now on the deck.
Start again. Always, of course, gets interesting when it's a toss for penalties, which end when you've got a ground like this where it clearly belongs, one end belongs to Brighton, one end belongs to Manchester United, but might not get that far. We might.
You can certainly feel
a well-matched semi-final.
Marcus Rashford is on his shoulder.
Has his chance to make a mark on it.
Playing the ball and the follow-through just catches. Yeah, and Rashford's left ankle. Time maybe Ten Hag will change the shape of his team with Sabitzer coming into that midfield area. Bruno Fernandes, I think, will play slightly wider, but not on the touchline.
An extra substitute allowed in extra time. Here's Fred. Came on as well, of course, as did Jadon Sancho. Veltman and Undav for Brighton. Challenge by Caicedo, but Manchester United got on the ball. Dunk Sancho into the game. Dalot, Fred, Sancho trying to place it. Corner.
Well, the shot he tries to wind into the far corner was deflected away for the corner. Set by Fred. He just moves the ball across. And it's Solly March who gets the left boot to it to deflect it away.
Bruno Fernandes. How much is it a reboot when you have that 90-minute break and you go again? Time ticking on, extra time approaching. Great time to score. But do they penetrate the ears of the players? Well, Mitoma is the furthest forward.
Well, there might be one or two
that and make sure
little instructions delivered, but
finds March.
Very much
the same. Well after that tweak of the ankle,
preaching exactly the same as they did from the start of the game.
Still be out there causing Manchester United problems. Here he is.
I don't think the players really want to stop. They just want to get into the extra time period as well.
McAllister able to turn space between the lines. He ran on to Undav, and it does go behind for a corner. It's a good try.
Well, it was deflected into Undav's path.
Casemiro's just dropped a little bit deeper to pick up
McAllister. He's playing the furthest forward of those Brighton midfield players. Finding the space, striking the shot.
Plus we're hearing 3 minutes. Brighton trying to produce a goal, which would have those fans we're looking at behind that goal.
The stadium a little bit flat, Martin.
That would have Brighton in the cup final. They're getting there, it would seem, this late stage. Not much chance to go out and get a cup of tea here. Big cues. Second touch was important from Sancho.
Marcus Rashford back there doing his defensive job at the near post to head that way.
Their supporters aren't. Maybe that's partly responsible for it, but Brighton attacking, that's what matters. March again. Fred gets a foot in. Cleared by Lindelof, and Rashford saying, "Dunk, you just have rolled it into me." Extra time you sense would suit Brighton.
Well, certainly learnt Manchester United from that earlier strike from
travel schedule.
Solly March when he comes in off that right side onto his favoured left foot.
Sancho,
quickly Casemiro was across. They were happy to keep sending him across the field.
By Lindelof. Sancho gives chase.
Yeah, right from the beginning, Martin, we wondered what the toll would be on this Manchester United squad.
In the defenders' day so far,
only just playing and travelling from
best
Thursday,
efforts,
but also
some very talented attackers.
Psychologically, the defeat that they suffered as well.
Back round the corner by Casemiro. Probably running a corner. Emphasising the point that defenders are having a good afternoon.
Well, the supporters are up this end. Bruno Fernandes is definitely limping. He's not moving freely at all now.
It's one last opportunity
after the end of
win this FA
90
Cup
minutes
final.
He seems to have seized up.
Oh, Undav. Oh. I think of the very poor the Wigan goal, and a very good chance evaporates for Brighton 10 years
really
ago.
Neat, tidy passing from Brighton, and Undav just needs that first touch as it's fed through to him.
Brighton looking to
knock out heavy touch away.
Play Manchester City here in June. It's over the top from March. Press on again.
Just too high for Solly March to head down.
Dunk. Estupinian. Very deep cross. Down low underneath it. Nearly a case of March in April to play in June. Gross.
Very good.
Maybe. Lovely turn. Cross for Matoma, too long just for Matoma. But he appreciates the talent and the technique and the tactic. Come on. Awkward for Wan-Bissaka. Less so for Matoma.
I just sense
encouraged to go for it here.
Are becoming a little weary. Don't quite have that spring in their step. It's understandable.
It was a genuine attempt to keep the ball, but it was a late lunge. And
he caught Casemiro.
Yeah,
as he
obviously
related
to
the ball away.
Spain, finishing late on Thursday. Complaints. Scheduled for month after month, really has been.
As you can see, he's
very demanding on a lot of competitions. Of course, you're doing well when you're in those competitions.
And that's the chance.
Assisted in all four of Brighton's.
What an opportunity for substitute Undav
to get to the semi-final.
The Serbi's not happy. All about that first touch that sets you up for the strike. Well, because he certainly is a threat coming off the left onto his favoured right side.
Caicedo. Tenacious work. McAllister.
It's brilliant from McAllister, the way that he rolls it off the outside of his right boot around Lindelof,
for the fans
holds him at bay in the end. The Manchester United centre just has to haul him down, not pulling his shirt, not going to let him run away, takes the yellow card. Well, I do think they're going to get it, and no one's leaving.
That's a decent try. We haven't had many long-range shots. From Caicedo. March. So both centre-backs are booked for Manchester United. Out to Matoma. And Casemiro in front of them. Estupinian on the gallop. Casemiro.
But it's that tired challenge, the lunge
the end
that can
of
be
the
so
90
costly.
minutes. Craig Pawson had a busy time dealing with a lot of challenges in the efforts to get to the FA Cup final. De Gea made an excellent save from Enciso in particular. In March, there's another header later on. Brighton look like they might have the freshness. Brighton fans think they can show that in extra time. But we reach it. We go to 15 minutes each way, remember. At Brighton 0, Manchester United 0.
Well, an outstanding defender, there's no doubt about that, but for me, starts everything off that's good about Brighton. Confident on the ball, will start
extra time at Wembley, second FA Cup on the ball. Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. Jadon Sancho change during the end of 90 minutes before we restart. Marcel Sabitzer is on. Sancho for Anthony. Feed it in. Good glance by Sabitzer. Start again. Needed a bit more contact.
Always, that's what he does. From that midfield position, you can see which he's the furthest forward United player as that ball's crossed into the edge of the 6-yard box.
Manchester United, but
it's a clever header, just trying to ease it back into that far post area.
Well-matched semi-final. Sabitzer has his chance to make a mark on it.
Yeah, and I think first time maybe Ten Hag will change the shape of his team with
space for Brighton
coming into that midfield area.
March.
Bruno Fernandes, I think, will play slightly wider, but not on the touchline.
Little telegraph for Gross. Sancho. Fred came on as well, of course, halfway through the first period of extra time. Veltman and Undav for Brighton. A one-sided semi-final yesterday, anything but here today.
No, this is as close as it can be.
Dunk, Sancho, Dallo. That's a run from Rashford. The flag has stayed down. Back for Sancho. Swing and a miss from Fred.
Offside.
Gone up. Yeah, he did look offside, but we've learned to wait like the assistants wait.
You have to wait, Martin.
Ian Hussein.
See Rashford taking off.
How much is it a reboot when you have that 90-minute break and
to come in line with Webster?
We saw both coaches having
Rashford is offside.
Strong words, but do they penetrate the ears of the players well?
But there might be one or two little instructions delivered, but very much
Manchester United the
same. I'm sure they're preaching exactly the same as they did from the start of the game.
Tyrell Malacia ready to come on. Here's Mitoma. Still Mitoma.
Really want to stop. They just want to get
decision.
into the extra time period.
Has been the story, particularly for Brighton, I think.
Well, Undav makes a good angle, but I just thought Mitoma was going to take it on his own.
Straight through the middle like Mahrez did here yesterday.
He did brilliantly. Well, Casemiro's just dropped a little bit deeper to pick up attention to Lindelof, then trying to slide it into Undav's furthest forward of those. What a chance that was to go on and strike from Mitoma. Finding the space, striking the shot.
Bruno Fernandes race is finally run. And Wan-Bissaka's off as well. So Dallo will go to right back.
A little bit flat, Martin.
to left back. I think they're going again. They're getting there. Not much chance to go out and get a cup of tea here. Big cues. And Weghorst, one assumes, will either play right through the middle, right up the first half, just the teams attacking the end, where done that a couple of times. Aren't. Maybe that's partly responsible for it, but Brighton attacking, that's what matters. Not everybody's cup of tea, but for Eric Ten Hag, Fred gets a foot in. Cleared by Lindelof and Rashford saying from Dutch football, of course. Just have rolled it into
a different option.
A genuine target now. There he goes.
Certainly learnt Manchester United from that earlier strike for that. Solly Master, when he comes in off that physical presence, right side on target to go into. Quickly, Casemiro was across. They were happy to keep sending him across the field.
Particularly wants to play through the middle.
Well, Sancho has gone right. Rashford's come back out to the left now. Weghorst is going
the defenders
straight
so
through
far.
the middle.
Despite the best efforts of some very talented attackers. Pocket picked by Undav, short. Around the corner by Casemiro. He had the best chance of was in extra time, but he's emphasising the best use of that. Good afternoon. Forward run. Now it's 4 against 4.
Bruno Fernandes is definitely limping.
He's
not moving freely at all.
Real
now.
chance for Manchester United.
The stop after the end of
there was a cutback that was on. Instead, he tried to slide it across. Weghorst might have got a tap in. Rashford can't make any progress.
Very poor touch.
Veltman loses out.
Very good chance
evaporates
for Brighton.
Casemiro,
really
he loses
tidy
out.
Passing from Brighton, and Undav just needs that first
driving
touch.
Forward.
It's fed through to him.
Mitoma.
And that's a heavy
so
touch
much for
away.
Brighton this season. And again, press on so again. Near, undeterred. So far.
Well, the chances for both teams have come from just sloppy passes in the final third that could end up being costly at the other end of the field. Undav's ended up with Manchester United,
Gross
and Fred in this position. He's trying to find Weghorst.
Lovely turn.
I thought the cut back for Sancho was the ball. That has to be so precise to find Weghorst. But Sancho on the edge of the box was furious with Fred.
If you were talent and the technique where Fred played it. And the tactic.
Yeah, but you've got to get across the front post in that respect, because it was just such a difficult ball to deliver for Fred, and Sancho was in such a better position, but he just wasn't aware of him. I just sense, Martin, that Manchester United
on many a goal that he scored
a little weary,
predatory position.
Quite have that spring in their step. It's understandable.
Almost at the end of the first period of extra time. Yeah, it's obviously related to being in Spain, finishing late on the.
And that's what happens when a
Thursday.
centre forward comes on, and
schedule
you have to contest those aerial duels.
Really has been very demanding and a lot of competitions. Of course, you're doing well when you're in those competitions.
And that's the chance. What's an opportunity for substitute Undav. De Zerbi's not happy. All about that first touch that sets you up for the strike.
Still got plenty to go here, and we're still Estepinian in that state of uncertainty about the second team. Caicedo complete the FA Cup final. It's a wonderful competition. Tenacious work.
Well, nothing between these sides.
McAllister.
It's brilliant for McAllister, the way that he rolls it off the outside of his right boot around Lindelof.
Webster
holds him at bay in the end.
Caicedo's given it away.
Manchester United centre-half just has to haul him down.
Fred.
Look, pulling his shirt.
Rashford, wonderful save by Sanchez. Wonderful save.
That is a sensational save, because I think it takes a deflection on the way through, Martin, as well. It's set brilliantly for Marcus Rashford to strike. Brighton overplaying Manchester United, and there's the set from Sancho, and the strike just clipping Webster's leg.
And Casemiro in front of them.
Hits his left shin, bounces up. Great reaction from the keeper.
Yeah, took it even further away, but he's a very tall man.
Challenge, the lunge that can be so costly.
He used all of the reach there. Fred. Duncan's another header. Robert Sanchez. Only played once for England. Brighton fans think that's very much unfair. He has the greater recognition. Moving ball.
Well, an outstanding defender, there's no doubt about that, but for me, starts everything
even
off.
If the referee didn't spot it, VAR would have spotted it.
So confident on the ball, will start. Yeah, and it wasn't moves off, taken from the right place.
Confidence on the ball. Here's Jadon Sancho. Referees. Here we are, half-time. Sancho on the scoreline. Absolutely nothing between these two semi-finalists. Good glance by Sanchez. Kept that alive, that situation. Needed a bit more contact.
But that's what he does. From his midfield position, you can see
the other end.
He's the furthest forward United player as that ball's crossed into the edge of the 6-yard box.
15 more minutes.
It's a clever header, just trying to ease it back into that far post area. Well, for the final period, Martin, they're playing towards their own support. Is that going to be advantageous? Who's going to make the most noise and draw their team in?
Well, March, when you go to see a variety show, top of the bill comes on last. Telegraph period of extra time might top what we've seen so far, which has been engrossing. Halfway through the first period of extra time. Real killer moment, that top quality in the final third, and the occasional time it has semi-final yesterday, right up to the challenges they faced.
Yeah, but it's been a fantastic contest as it can be.
Sancho, Dalla. It's a run from Malacia, but the flag has stayed down. Back for Sancho. I'm not sure Philip Dawson saw all of that, but he swing and a miss from Fred.
Offside,
no protest offside, but we've learned to wait like the assistants.
The players will have to wait, and certainly the supporters are trying to influence the referee there, which happens. See Rashford taking off. Dunk steps up to come in line with Webster, and Rashford is offside.
And Webster. Lure Beckhorst in, make him run. Move going forward. Flange had to go back to go forward. Manchester United have got Beckhorst. Webster not being pressed. Tyrell Malacia ready to come on. Here's Mitoma. Still Mitoma. Oh, wrong decision. March couldn't force a way through. Has been the story, particularly for Brighton, I think.
Well, like makes a good angle, but I just thought Mitoma was going to take it on his own.
Straight through the middle, like Mahrez did here yesterday.
He did brilliantly to
he got his shot off.
Sort of evade the attentions of Lindelof and trying to slide it into Undaf's path. What a chance that was to go on a strike from Fred in the end, because he stays really close to Solly March, doesn't allow him to really get the ferocity in the shot. And De Gea's in the right place.
It's a free kick to Brighton. Falling on the ball and handling it. Bruno Fernandes.
Race is finally in the stadium now, isn't there? You could just feel it going into this last period.
Dallo will go to right back, Malacia to left back. It'll be a big moment to witness here. Undaf and Weghorst, Sabitzer for Manchester United. Will another play right through the middle, like Sancho, or just off. Right back. He's done that a couple of times. Mitoma trying to stay with him, but not stopping the cross. On loan from Burnley. Not everybody's cup of tea, but for Eric Ten Hag.
Well, he actually does well to get the cross in, does Dallo. Mitoma chased him all the way back to the byline. Well, a different option. No one in that back post area.
A genuine target now. There he goes.
Exactly for that. Just that physical presence, the challenge, the target to go into.
Gets Rashford back on the contest, which I think he particularly wants to play through the middle.
Well, Sancho has gone right. Rashford's come back out to the left now. Weghorst is going straight through the middle.
Sure. Here's Casemiro. Great pocket pick by Undaf. A lot of refereeing now to make sure that he had the best chance of versus 11 still extra time. Will he make the best use of that? Those players have made questionable challenges. 4 against 4 led to a second yellow card. Here's Fred. It's a real chance for Manchester United, and there was a cutback that was on. Instead he tried to slide it across from where Weghorst might have got a tap in. Rashford can't make any progress. Manchester United's throw. Veltman loses out. Malacia, Casemiro, he loses out.
Puts
Caicedo
under pressure,
driving forward.
It's deflected away for the
Mitoma,
throw-in.
who's done so much for Brighton this season. It's been an amazing renaissance for Luke Shaw. And again, terrible injury when so near joined Manchester United, so then fell out of favour with Jose Mourinho.
Both teams have come from just sloppy passes in the final third.
One of the senior
could end up being costly at the other end of the field.
First names on the team sheet.
Undaf's ended up with Manchester United.
Went a long way.
And Fred in this position.
That's consistency from Craig Pawson. He's not been picky.
I thought the cut back for Sancho was the ball. That has to be so precise to find
picky about that either, I don't think.
Sancho on the edge of the box was furious with Fred.
If you were playing,
well, Ten Hag's going crazy in the technical area.
Yeah, you've got to get across the front post in that respect, because it was just such a difficult ball to deliver for Fred. And Sancho was in such a better position. Veltman said he was fouled by Rashford.
Yeah,
we'll see it here.
Commentated on many a goal that you scored in that predatory position. Probably.
It's that's a close one, Martin, because for me, Rashford's got the run on Veltman. He's slightly goal side.
Almost at the end of the first period. Check is complete, so it's not going anywhere else. For a moment, Veltman's headed off towards the tunnel, but of course he was just moving into his right back area.
And you have to contest.
Have we seen a card?
Aerial duels.
No card.
Dunks on the floor. He's saying he was caught by Weghorst.
Well, here all ages might seem very long to the very young. Oh, and still got plenty to go here.
I think he was clipped and then he hobbled.
Yeah,
well, he's now demonstrating with the referee.
The complete hobble's gone. The FA Cup final. Rashford's running.
Well,
could this be the moment for Manchester United? Weghorst unmarked in the middle. Rashford wants it for himself, and this season it's a surprise when he misses.
Well, missing the target, yes, because all of a sudden Marcus Rashford is giving Veltman a really difficult time on the right side of Brighton's defence. Just that pace getting in behind him.
By Sanchez.
The touch takes him a little wide, but then that is a sensational save, because I think it takes a deflection on the way through Martin as well. It's set brilliantly for Marcus Rashford so often this season. Brighton overplaying Manchester United, and there's the set from Sancho, and the strike just clipping Webster's leg. Hits his left shin, bounces up. Great reaction from the keeper.
Lost the ball and his Weghorst. He's a very tall man. Lost the ball via it looked like a handball. Used all of the reach there. Slugging it out here, these two. Fred.
And that was the right decision, because Matoma just skipped past Dalot and he stepped across his path.
Robert Sanchez. The full extent of him. Weghorst. Moving ball. Dunk. Even if the referee didn't spot it, VAR would have spotted it. Matoma.
Yeah, and it wasn't taken from the right place.
These tired defenders. Well, that doesn't always deter referees. Gross. Get it through to McAllister. Pascal Gross again. Here we are, half-time. Getting to his still nothing. Shooting the scoreline. Matoma. Weave it through. Still going Matoma. These two semi-finalists. But Robert Sanchez. It's a foul on the Gea situation. Hammered in with the sidementing by Estupinian at his end. We've got so close, so often.
It was quite brilliant from Brighton. The interchange, the takeovers,
pause.
Matoma's run.
Go again for 15 more minutes.
Solly Marsh, a little takeover with Matoma. Then he slides it. Well, for the final period, Martin, they're playing follows his run and catches De Gea right at the end of it. Is that going to be advantageous? Who's going to make the most noise and draw their team in?
Who was it who got the first yellow card, didn't they? When you go to see a variety show. Casemiro was top of the bill, comes on last. And this period of extra time is a bit late again.
Fraction heavy, but late with a challenge.
So far, it's been engrossing. It's not dissimilar. Lacked only that real killer moment, that top quality in the final third. And the occasional time it has happened, the goalkeepers have been right up to the challenges they faced.
Real poster boy of Japanese fantastic contest, it really has.
Matoma. Took a while to get into Brighton's team on a regular basis. De Zerbi saw the potential. I'm not sure Craig Pawson saw all of that, but he recognised it was a goal kick. No protests from Manchester United.
Well, the players were, but certainly the supporters are trying to influence the referee there, which happens.
The extremes of emotion that will be around this ground when finally there is a rule drawn between the two, whether it's a goal in extra time or the shootout. No, Weghorst in, make him run. Just going forward. Trying to go back to go forward. Driving at the team. Has not made any concession to that ankle injury. Webster not being pressed. Eventually. We're looking at 5, maybe 6 minutes. March couldn't force a way through. Fred. Stopped by Caicedo. Breaks from March. Undan. Solly March. Still Solly March. And he got his shot off. But, complaining that he was being fouled as he tried to manoeuvre himself into that shooting position.
It's good work from Fred in the end because he stays really close to Solly March. Doesn't allow him to really get the ferocity in the shot. And De Gea's in the right place.
Forward again. Chased by Weghorst. Pursued by Brighton. That is a foul. Weghorst was winning the race. Veltman was trying to see it out.
Just a silly challenge from Veltman because Fiegels is at full pace running into the corner. First of all, he's got to control the ball.
The witness here.
And you can see here, it just eases him away from it. There's no need to make that challenge. How costly could this be?
Manchester United. Another of the substitutes, Jadon Sancho. Dalot now at right back, 17th minute at Wembley. Matoma trying to stay with him, but not stopping the cross. Over the ball, won't reach it.
Well, he actually does well to get the cross in, does Dalot. Matoma chased him all the way back to the byline. But no one in that back post area. You can see Casemiro, he's pointing to say to Sabitzer that has to be going into that near post area, into the 6-yard box.
Well, it's been
totally over here.
An epic contest. Fred, on the other hand, put out the hand of sympathy to Sabitzer as he ran past it. Dalot. Shaw. Rashford. Craig Pawson has used a lot of refereeing now to make sure that we've reached this stage with 11 versus 11 still on the field. A number of players have been brought. Casemiro. Those players have made questionable challenges. Some could stop again, which could have led to a second yellow card.
Casemiro. Everybody thought he was going to release the ball, and he dragged it back inside to give himself the chance to strike.
Shaw
comes back inside. Caicedo not quite in the corner. Sanchez again down smartly.
Manchester United's throw. Manchester United fancy this.
There's good pressure from Gross.
Turn on the star right at the end. Numbers in the box.
Under pressure, but
laid in by Casemiro.
It's deflected away for the United.
Passed away by March. Collected by Shaw. It's been an amazing renaissance for Luke Shaw. Into a terrible injury when he first joined Manchester United, then fell out of favour with Jose Mourinho. Side calves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Become one of the senior members of the squad. The first names on the team sheet. Penalty with those side calves. Went a long way. Again, that's consistency from Craig Pawson. He's not been picky enough. Free kick to Brighton. What's he going to make of that? Started actually tricky about that either. I don't think Manchester United finishing it well.
Yeah, they're finishing the. Well, Ten Hag's going crazy in the technical area. He felt Manchester United. Veltman pulled Rashford back.
Matoma.
Veltman said he was fouled by Rashford. Yeah. And we'll see it here.
Stupinian. It's good tracking by Fred. Probably
that's a close one, Martin, because for me, Rashford's got the run on Veltman. He's slightly
Solly
side
for Brighton. Check is complete, so it's not going anywhere else.
He's trying to cut it back and he's deflected into the side net.
Headed off towards
to evade the attention.
Of course, he was just moving into his right back area.
Gets to the byline.
Have we seen
Fred can't make the challenges in the box. And there, Luke Shaw deflects it into the side netted.
Well, it's becoming quite a chilly evening, but De Zerbi wiping the sweat from his brow. Dunk. Oh, Seagulls. Lindelof is struggling. Is the player playing for?
I think he was clipped and then he hobbled.
Fly high
He's now demonstrating with the referee.
The semi-final. The hobble's gone, I think. Rashford's running. Could this be the moment for Manchester United? Weghorst unmarked in the middle. Rashford wants it for himself, and this season it's a surprise when he misses.
Well, missing the target, yes, because all of a sudden Marcus Rashford is giving Veltman a really difficult time.
on the right side of Brighton's defence. Just that pace getting in behind him. The touch takes him a little wide, but then he comes back on his favoured right foot. And the only disappointment is he hasn't hit the target.
As the seconds run
We've
down.
seen it so often this season.
What about Jadon Sancho? Spurring back to the Euro with himself, Marcus Rashford. Estupinian. And he's lost the ball in his Weghorst.
I think that's clearly
He's lost the ball where it looked like a handball.
Those players,
Here goes Matoma, slugging it out here, these two.
Take them. If they don't want to, they don't take them. It's as simple as that. It's a simple question and answer. And that was the right decision because Matoma just skipped past Dalot and he stepped across his path.
This is one last chance for Manchester United.
One last minute.
Dunk, not like that. Lindelof. Matoma. Trying to tease tired defenders. We go to penalties. Get it through to the side. Who plays Manchester City? March in the FA Cup final. Getting to his. They've been at it. Hammer and Matoma to weave it through. 2 hours. Still going. Matoma. A purposeful play. Aggressive play, I think, not penetrating play. Side netting by both goalkeepers have made significant saves. So close, so often.
It was quite brilliant from Brighton. The interchange, the takeovers, Matoma's run. Solly Marsh, a little takeover with Matoma, and he slides it. Brighton.
The main penalty taker.
Matoma follows his run and catches De Gea right at the end of it.
Is that any different to Matoma catching? What's riding on this? Who got his first yellow card, didn't he?
Estupinian.
Casemiro, a very isolated position to take a penalty in the shootout. Everybody else back at
a bit
last again. The goalkeeper's trying to spoil your evening.
Challenge.
Yeah, it's not dissimilar on the sideline.
Emirates Cup, FA Cup. Goli la wazi limekosekana na mtanange unaendelea, unashika moto kabisa. Naona kila mtu anakuna kichwa, nafasi ya wazi kabisa imekosekana kwa Brighton. Mashabiki nao wamehuzunika sana. Mpira unachezwa katikati ya uwanja na tunaona vyema kabisa jitihada zipo kote kote. Brighton, Manchester United, kila mmoja anasaka lango la mwenzake kabisa pale, ili warau japo waweze kutoka katika ushindi. Naam. Basi nikukumbushe usisahau kusubscribe katika channel yetu, nikikuripotia kutoka jijini Dar es Salaam kabisa, na mtanange unachezwa majuu FA Cup. Naam. Kama unavyoona mtanange ni wa moto, kila mmoja na kaza, kila mmoja lango lake anajitetea kulilinda. Si Manchester, si Brighton, wote ni wa moto kabisa. Wanajitahidi kwa hali na mali. Naam. Basi nikukumbusha usisahau kusubscribe katika channel yetu pendwa kabisa. Hii ni semi-final kati ya Manchester na Brighton versus Manchester United. Mashabiki wote wa Manchester wako moto. Ni faulo pale imechezeka faulo. Basi nikukumbushe mtazamaji, usisahau kusubscribe katika channel yetu ipendwa kabisa, ili uweze kuwa kwanza kupata taarifa habari kuhusu michezo. Basi subscribe sasa ili uwe miongoni mwa familia yetu. katika kuendeleza na kukuza michezo duniani kote. Naam, asante sana.
Area into the 6-yard box, totally over here.
One or two moments, Fred on the other hand, where he might have out the hand of sympathy to edge the game Brighton's way. Short approach here. De Gea dances on the line. Undav, that's right in the corner again.
Brilliant accuracy. Has to be struck, certainly with an accuracy from that sort of short run up, and he does. There goes the right way, can't get across to it.
Casemiro. Good stop again.
Really clever from Casemiro. Everybody thought he was going to release the ball, and he dragged it back inside to give himself the chance to strike.
Jadon Sancho
comes back inside. Casado not quite in the corner. Sanchez again down smartly.
Sancho. History in this ground. Manchester United fancy this. Playing for his country. Turn on the star right at the end. Put numbers in the box. Played in by Casemiro. Penalty here, and he's done that. Well played, Jadon Sancho.
Well away by March. That is pressure of the highest order, and that is brilliantly dispatched.
The gloves of Robert Sanchez. Travis Estupinian, tight calves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Might have to take a penalty with those tight calves. Gets maybe a word from kick to Bright Sanchez. Maybe not even that. It's just started extra time well. Look, Manchester United finishing it well.
Martin, people say players should miss penalties. They'd have practiced them and practiced them
final period
on the training
strongly
field, but not
Manchester United.
under this sort of pressure.
He looks nervous. Antonio Estupinian. Can he convert? The answer is yes. Estupinian.
Well, he waited for De Gea to drop to his right-hand side and then just pulled it back into the open side of the net.
Him. March. Still Solly March for Brighton. Well, the longer it goes,
he's trying to cut it back and he's deflected into the side netting. Did brilliantly to evade the attentions of Malacia. Gets to the byline.
Brighton have scored all four.
Fred can't make the changes in the box.
Time
and
up
there,
to three.
Luke Shaw
deflects it
into the side netting.
Desperately wants to keep that quite a chilly evening, but De Zerbi wiping the sweat from his brow. Robert Sanchez will have his own ideas. They will certainly prepped a Rashford penalty. Well, the Seagulls fly high. Is there a player playing for the club nicknamed the Seagulls who can fly high here? A stutter, and again the semi-final. The job done with a certain amount of style.
And well done, Marcus Rashford. Once again, the penalties have been of the highest order in terms of accuracy.
Mtazamaji wetu, usisahau kusubscribe katika channel yetu ili uweze kuwa kwanza kupata taarifa mbalimbali za michezo. Yanga, Simba, Azam, Namungo, Mbeya, Mtibwa, Singida United na timu nyingine mbalimbali, na taarifa za usajili. Tafadhali kuwa wa kwanza basi subscribe ili wa kwanza. Dakika moja imesalia ili mpira uweze kukamilika. Asante sana, na kukumbusha uweze kusubscribe hapo chini ili uweze kuwa kwanza kupata taarifa za michezo kutoka channel yetu. Asante sana.
All five converted by Brighton.
Well, he might not get to it yet, because there's one last chance for Manchester United.
One last minute.
It would be appropriate, I guess, certainly from Brighton's point of view, if his penalty was the winning penalty. But that to happen, Sabitzer has to fail here. He's a very experienced campaigner, international with Austria, not like lots of European football. Just
got a hand to it, Sanchez.
Moto kabisa, kila mmoja analinda goli lake, kila mmoja analinda mlango wake, kila mmoja anajitahidi kutetea nafasi yake. Si Brighton, si Manchester United wote wako kimapambano zaidi, na mpira umekamilika dakika 90 na zile dakika za nyongeza zimekamilika. Naam, sasa tuone katika hatua ya inayofuata sasa. Mbona na mvua inanyesha, sio mchezo, mpira ulikuwa moto kabisa. Sasa ni hatua ya matuta. Nani atakayeibuka kidedea? Mvua inakamata, mvua inapiga kabisa, mvua inapiga. Nadhani ingekuwa bongo hii tungesema Simba wamechukua kikombe. Nadhani ingekuwa bongo, Simba wamechukua ushindi kabisa. Mvua inakamata kabisa. Brighton 0 Manchester 0. Naam, na kukaribisha usubscribe katika channel yetu hii uweze kushuhudia mitanange mbalimbali na go ya ni moja ile katika hatua ya penalty wamepata goli moja Brighton. Sasa tuone Manchester wakiwa katika upigaji wa penalty.
Manchester United.
Well, it couldn't be any closer. It really has been outstanding penalty kicks.
Naam, lazima tuombe dua katika go. Safi sana Manchester United moja katika hatua penalty. Naam, lazima tuombe dua. Kila timu lazima iombe dua. Si Brighton, si Manchester United. Hii ni semi-final Emirates FA Cup. Naam, wanapunguzana pale viongozi.
Europa League final. We've seen it before, one misses and then the other team...
inavutwa pumzi vyema kabisa, na penalty inapigwa go. Ngoma inaingia wavuni kabisa pale. Ni 2-1, Manchester 1 Brighton 2. Naam, mtanange ni mzito, viongozi bado hawana tumaini kabisa ni nani ambaye atakayechomoka kwenye hizi penalty. Naam, tuone mtanange huu. Mtazamaji, nikukumbushe kusubscribe katika channel yetu ya Zandani Sport ili wewe wa kwanza kupata burudani hii majuu Afrika na Tanzania, Afrika Mashariki na Bongo kwa ujumla. Karibu sana uweze kusubscribe. Ni zamu ya Manchester United. Imepigwa pale vyema 2-2, Manchester 2 Brighton 2. Naam, mtanange hizi penalty ni za moto. Hakuna hata mmoja alikosa penalty ni za moto.
Substitute.
Mwenyezi Mungu saidia, mtanange mzito kama tashika Emirates FA Cup. Ni Brighton nafasi yao. Naam, wavuni pale Brighton 3 Manchester 2. Hakuna mpaka sasa Brighton ni penalty hata moja waliopoteza, na Manchester kuna mpaka sasa penalty hata moja waliopoteza. Na ni mtanange mzito, kila mmoja akilinda akitetea timu yake, ufanisi wa timu yake. Na ni nafasi ya Manchester, wanaenda kuipiga penalty hiyo ya 3 kwao. Manchester 2 Brighton 3. Naam, tuone katika kinyang'anyiro hiki. Anavuta, anapiga go ndani wavuni pale, bila watu wasiwasi, akijiamini kwamba nilikuwa ni haki yangu kushinda kabisa. Manchester 3 Brighton 3. Tanange ni mzito, kamata shika. mtanange wa moto kabisa. Asante kwa Manchester, asante kwa Brighton. Na mtazamaji, nikukumbushe kusubscribe katika channel yetu hii pendwa kabisa, ili uwe wa kwanza kupata taarifa moto za michezo kutoka majuu Bongo, Afrika, Amerika, Asia na Europe, bila kusahau Australia. Anapiga, anavuta, anapiga, go! Kamuuza vyema kabisa pale, kamuuza vyema. Brighton 4 Manchester 3. Asante sana.
Shot ball.
This lady was good about that beat. I knew this girl was running around with a little nappy on.
Oh, wowing.
The longer it goes, the greater the pressure.
You might as well. Come on.
And now it is time for Marcus
Well, the
Rashford.
intro was going on.
Naam, ni zamu ya Manchester United. Mpenzi mtazamaji, nikukumbushe kusubscribe katika channel yetu ili wa kwanza kupata taarifa mbalimbali za kimichezo. Anavuta Manchester, ni zamu ya Manchester United. Wanavuta kuicheza penalty, anavuta pumzi tena, anajivuta, anavuta, anapiga, go! 4-4, Brighton 4 Manchester United 4. Sasa hiyo inayofuata ndio ipi itakayoamua sasa. Brighton wamebakisha nafasi moja ya penalty, Manchester wamebakisha nafasi moja ya penalty, ikiwa zote ni 4-4. Manchester wamebakisha nafasi moja, Brighton nafasi moja. Brighton akikosa hapa, Manchester akipata, ushindi ni kwa Manchester. Brighton akipata, Manchester akikosa, ushindi kwa Manchester. Anavuta vizuri kabisa. Kipa anaomba Mungu aitetee timu yake. 1 2 3, piga pale, go! 5-4. Mungu saidia Manchester. Danki ameingizia wavuni Brighton bao la 5. Mungu saidia Manchester, Mungu saidia Manchester. Anaanza kuamsha mashabiki. Hiyo ikienda mlama, basi ujue Manchester imeenda na maji. Na Manchester, mashabiki wa Manchester, pressure kimuhemuhe, wanaomba Mungu. Manchester United wanapiga pale wavuni 5-5. Ni mtanange mzito katika penalti zote 5. Brighton imeshinda zote, Manchester imeshinda zote. Naam, huo ni mtanange mzito wa kupata na shika, wa kuwahi kutokea kabisa. Naam, timu zote bado zina wasiwasi. Nini? Mbona kumekazika? Timu zote zimekazika, zitaki kuachia wavu. Naam, Brighton wanaelekeza mpira golini mwa Manchester, akiwa nafasi ya penalty ya 6. Naam, anapiga pale, go! 6-5. Manchester 5, Brighton penalty ya 6. Wameshinda zote penalty 6. Naam, mashabiki wa Brighton wako wakiwa na moto, shangilia, kelele.
What's the team in the first half?
Yeah, this is the team. Apparently,
This is the team in the first half. No, but we've got a team for the second half because we've got 21 players. So if you look at the strong at the back,
Sander in goal.
yeah, and
vihehehe kabisa. Nafasi ya 7 kwa Brighton. Mashabiki kama hivyo, nafasi ya 7 hiyo wanapiga kapawisha, wamekosa hiyo nafasi ya 7. Nafasi inaenda kwa Manchester United. Ikishinda Manchester United, basi Brighton ni kilio kikubwa. Mashabiki wamenyong'onyea, mpira unachukuliwa na Manchester United, wanaenda kupiga nafasi yao ya penalty, na mpira umepaa juu kabisa, nje kabisa. FA Cup Manchester wanapiga, wakishinda ushindi ni wa kwao, wakipawisha na wao ego, Manchester amechukua ubingwa.
Brighton are distraught. The difference.
Did you have a word here then, John?
5 hours.
What's your motivational speech to the boys?
Can he do it?
Just
just don't get in.
Basi nikukumbushe kusubscribe katika channel yetu ili wa kwanza kupata taarifa mbalimbali za michezo kutoka Zandani Live Sporti, Zandani Sporti. Subscribe hapo chini sasa. Mpira wetu utakuwa umekamilika kwa hizo Manchester wamechukua ubingwa. Subscribe hapo chini tafadhali. Mpira umekamilika.